Good morning, pilgrims. A very good morning to you, Grenada, and the rest of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Today happens to be the 13th day of January 2019. Can you imagine? Almost 2 weeks gone. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. My dear friends, we have an interesting program coming your way over the next 3 hours. We hope you can spend the entire 3 hours with us. I know that's asking quite a bit, but if you can, great. If you can't, well, take a look on the website there. You'll see that there are several platforms where you can go on back and listen to us or watch us a little later on today. There's Facebook, which is, whether you're looking at us right now on the GrenadaBroadcast.com website or on Facebook, it's the same thing, same feed, okay? Later on this afternoon, the program is going to be up on YouTube, and of course, you can also join us on TuneIn. You can join us on Radio Garden, Radio Genre. If you're having any problems during the morning, on the website there, you see a list of those platforms. Just, if you're having trouble on one platform, just click on the other platform. You're good to go. Take a look at the rundown for this morning. We will begin, as we always do, with the buzz. And I say, hey, there they go, showing up on Facebook already. And even earlier on this morning, a number of people on the other platforms. We'll say hi to them in just a wee bit. But we'll start with a buzz and, of course, a reading from the Holy Scriptures. And we do have feedback for you this morning, including a weekly visit from Little Angel. 2 editorials for you today. The Grenada Advocate, which is captioned, "Be Prepared for Brexit." Boy, that issue ain't going away. It ain't going to be around for a little while, and more people are paying attention to that. Then the new today is captioned, "Looming Crisis." You're going to have to wait for just a few minutes before you find out what that one's all about. As far as interviews are concerned, I have a gentleman coming in here this morning who has been with us before, a couple of times before. His name is Senator Dunstan Campbell. He's the farmers' representative in the Senate. And we're going to talk a bit about the state of Grenada's agribusiness and hear what his plans are for agriculture in 2019. Yeah, very interesting gentleman. He's always impressed me. I like hearing him speak. Our features today, and notice I said features. That's because there's a segment that I ran this past week on tourism, well, in particular as it applies to cruise ship arrivals. We captioned it, "A Cruise Day in the Life of St. George." I ran that this past week, and let me tell you, there was quite a lot of reaction to it. And I know that on weekdays, a lot of you are at work making a living, like Georgie Porgy. So I thought, for the masses who were not able to see that, let's run it by them again this morning. We're going to do that. Then, feature number 2. So, what is the diaspora concerned about? There's a gentleman who's very, very active on Facebook. He's a Grenadian living in New York. His name is Gerry Hopkin. He's a consultant and community organizer. Works very much with the Grenadian diaspora out there in the Big Apple. Well, we're going to have a little chat this morning about a number of different issues, and all issues which are very pertinent here in Grenada today. And I think you're going to enjoy that. So please stick around for Gerry. He should be with us, I would imagine, at about a little after 10:30 this morning or so. Okay? Yeah. Now, let me take a look and see who they and who do they. On Facebook, Grenada Sunshine is saying good morning to you folks. So is Glenn, Andrew, Mark, and Margaret They're all there already. And also saying good morning, Anthea Rello. Hey, Anthea. Back at work, eh? Back at work. Girl, you had a hoot here, didn't you? Anthea was on a visit to Grenada. She lives in Decatur, Georgia, and she was on a visit here a little over a week ago. Actually, she was here for a little longer than that, and did find the time from her busy schedule to stop in and be with us right here in the studio, which we really appreciate it. Andrea, good to see, Anthea, good to see you this morning. Thanks for joining us. Now, let's run over here to Rumble Chat on the GrenadaBroadcast.com website. Good morning, Adrian Mitchell. Boy, he was up real early this morning. Yeah, he's saying good morning, George. And who else is there? Now, there's somebody. It's the first time I'm seeing this on Rumble Chat. Usually, when you put something on Rumble Chat, there's a name. Okay. Mickaman Alexander, Adrian Pascal, Anthea Rollo, whatever. For the first time this morning, I'm seeing a no-namer, a blank. Huh? Those of you who are on the Grenada Bee website, take a look. You'll see for yourself. But anyhow, the person is saying, good morning. Wait a minute. It's now showing up as Good Morning Grenada. Ah, well, good morning, Grenada. Thank you for joining us. He's saying, good morning, George. Good morning, beautiful people of Grenada. Thank you. We're so nice here, aren't we? Thank you. Good morning, Grenada, for joining us. As we scroll down a wee bit here, Kipling Francis. Kipling is saying, good morning, Mr. Grant, Mr. Chester, and class. God's blessings to all. It is so sad to see that ungodliness, hypocrisy, biasness, and misinformation are the forefront of almost every issue in today's life. What a shame, if there still is. Kipling, do us all a favor and try to look at the brightest side. Yeah, there are problems, not just here in Grenada, man, but all over the world, Kipling. Try, make an effort to look at the brighter side. And lift us up, man. Help me. That's what I'm trying to do. Help me to lift us up. Please, I would really appreciate that. Just as much as I appreciate seeing you every Sunday morning. You are an extremely loyal listener. You're always here with us, and we appreciate that, okay? Now, so scroll down a little bit more, and let's see here. Good morning, Grenada comes back and says, Chester, so sorry to hear that you're ill, but you are a godly man, and you will recover in God's grace. Love and respect to you and your caring family. Yeah. Good morning, Grenada. Boy, this must have been a tough time, not just for Chester, but for his dear wife as well, Beatrice. And she's working hard at putting him through this ordeal. So thanks for recognizing his caring family. Good morning, Grenada says, Chester, it's Zola. Zola? Are you trying to confuse me or what? If I'm not mistaken, she's out there in, she's in Europe, and I'm trying to remember exactly. Zola, I'll get you for that. Dennis also says, good morning. Let's see what else he says here. Good morning, class, and a belated Happy New Year to all. It's a bit dull here in London, but about 4 degrees warmer than it should be. Signed, Christine and Dennis. Good to hear from you, Dennis, as always. And then Anthea Rello says, good morning, George and all. Looks like another day of no sunshine here in Decatur. I'm buying a lottery ticket tomorrow. Maybe I will win and get to enjoy the sunshine at home. come on back anytime, girl. Come on back. Come on back. Penny, hello, Penny. Well, let's hear how cold it is up there. Penny says, good morning, all. We'll break my hibernation and have the freezing temps and brave the freezing temps here. Time to head to the warmth and sunshine there. Hey, Penny, anytime, girl, anytime. I know it's cold up there. I know. And what's today? The 13th of January? Settle in for the long haul. We will rise is saying good morning. And another day to be thankful for. Indeed, we will rise. You know, I just, before coming to sit here in the studio, I stood on the balcony out there just admiring the beauty of this place. We're bathing in sunshine here again this morning. It is really, really wonderful. This is actually my favorite time of the year. It's not too hot, although some days, like you'll notice, when you see that piece I did on the cruise industry a little later on, you'll notice that the day I was out there, it was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Man, bucket a drop. It was a scorcher. But right now, it's nice and cool, very, very comfortable, and loads of sunshine. I think that's it on Rumble Chat for the time being. Yeah, that's it for the time being. So, what we're going to do now is take a very first little break here. And we'll come back and get into today's edition of The Buzz.
Together with you, our customers, we energize our community.
Together with you, we energize our economy.
We are working together to give our nation a better tomorrow.
With you, we energize our future. Together, we energize our nation.
Thank you for partnering with us
as we energize our spice side.
Redleg, energizing our Grenada.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Okie dokie, folks. It's coming up on 14 minutes after 9 o'clock here in Grenada. You folks in the U.S. are about an hour behind us. We've now been joined by a few more people on Facebook. Mickaman Alexander is saying to everyone, have a great day, class. Fitzroy Adams says, good morning. Do you realize we have one prime minister and one president? Always lying and backtracking on whatever they say. Lydia James is saying, good morning, George, from a cold Canada. And I hope I'm pronouncing this properly. Daveny, D-A-V-E-N-Y, or Davney, whichever. Saying good morning, looking forward to another wonderful program. We're going to do our best, Davney, or Davini. And Veronica Sandy is also showing up this morning saying good morning. And it's a very cold morning in New York. Yeah, Veronica, thank you for letting us know. I'm surprised that Margaret hasn't complained about the cold yet. Well, anyhow. So, I think that's it on Facebook for the time being. Let us get into today's edition of The Buzz. And we begin with a reading from Matthew chapter 6, verses 5 to 14. And when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. And when you pray, do not keep on babbling like pagans, for they think that they will be heard because of their many words. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need even before you ask him. This then is how you should pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For if you forgive other people when they sin against you, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive others their sins, your Father will not forgive your sins. Matthew chapter 6, verses 5 to 14. Check it out yourself. I have another one for you just before we wrap it up. Now, folks, I got in the feedback section, I just stuck this in the feedback section. This was a humongous week for the people who work as vendors and taxi drivers here in Grenada, at least theoretically. This past week, from last Sunday, 1 week ago today, up to yesterday, according to the schedule, that I'm stressing that, according to the schedule, which is provided to me by the Grenada Tourism Authority, we had a capacity of 35,628 on cruise ships calling on that little port down the street here, Melvin Street. Friends, that's got to be some kind of record. Even bearing in mind that the figures represent capacity. You know, they're telling you how many passengers the ship can hold. Doesn't mean that the ship is full, okay? Now, that is great, great news for us. What puzzles me is why the GTA is not able to say how many passengers disembark. I'll tell you why. Because the capacities will always be greater than the number of guests who disembark. Folks, if a ship has a capacity of 10,000 people, doesn't mean that everybody gets off the ship when they arrive here, okay? You will have one hell of a time convincing me that all the guests on board disembark. Whoever believes that is living in La La Land. I would not only be shocked, but also concerned if the authorities did not keep a record of passengers setting foot on the island. I raised this issue last year, and I lost brownie points for doing so with the GTA. I guess it was rude on my part to question the accuracy of the figures being provided to you, the people. But I got to be realistic. I got to be realistic. Not everybody gets off the ship. So when I tell you that we had a capacity of 35,000, yeah, that's impressive. That is really impressive. It means that the GTA is getting people to come here, getting ships to come here. But please, let's not tell people that we had 35,000 people on Grenada yesterday or last week. It's just not true. It's just not true, okay? So all I'm trying to do is get some accurate information out there. Let's turn now to Little Angel at large. Hello, Little Angel. Good morning. Little Angel says, according to the American philosopher and educator John Dewey, and I quote, education is life, unquote. Education gives knowledge and allows the opportunity to use that knowledge wisely, to live, grow, and develop. Education is the ability to think and understand. It also assists in building character and minds, opinions, and views on things in life. The benefits of education are well known. It allows for the development of the individual and, by extension, the development of a nation. It improves the standard of living, makes people independent, contributes to the growth of an economy and prosperity of a country. Education breaks down barriers and promotes equality, while individuals can be made financially independent and free. Education reduces poverty and sustains the lives of future generations. An educated person is often respected, is successful, and able to pursue dreams. A society without education is doomed to fail. Uneducated people are vulnerable and can be manipulated, exploited, indoctrinated, and abused. Education is a right and not a privilege. Teachers and the teaching profession play a critical role in the educational process and are responsible for the development of students who soon become adults and senior citizens. Teachers help children to read and write in order for them to be educated. Given the importance of education, there is no doubt that teachers deserve to be acknowledged, respected, and paid more for their work and the personal sacrifices they make in order to shape the minds of those they teach. The United Nations and the world understand the importance of teaching and the teaching profession. Grenada must also demonstrate that understanding. Education was included as number 4 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals to be achieved by a host of countries, including Grenada. By 2030, Grenada has to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote long or lifelong learning opportunities for all. Grenada's commitment to teaching or to reaching this goal is questionable. Instead of promoting the well-being of the educational system, Grenada chose to do otherwise based on the level of incompetence being demonstrated in managing the pension and gratuity impasse that continues to remain unresolved. It may be fair to ask, are Grenadians educated enough to survive, and those who are supposed to be educated Are they applying knowledge wisely for the benefit of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique? Grenadians must learn that they must be educated. Signed, Little Angel. Okie dokie, Little Angel. Thank you very much for chiming in. Let me get back here to Facebook for a minute. And again, folks, I urge you, please, when you're typing on Facebook or on Rumble Chat, please think about what you're saying and make sure that it makes sense, okay? And try to be as grammatically correct as possible, because I don't, in my anxiety to make sure that you are heard, I do not always have the time to pre-read before going on the air. So, let's see here. Anthony Wendell DeRigg says, good morning, George, and God bless you. Thanks, Anthony. You are doing a fantastic job showering us with sparks of inspiration and knowledge as you connect us to the homeland. Much appreciated. Folks, remember to share the live. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Anthony. And yes, remember to do what he says. He's taking over from Margaret this morning. It's usually Margaret who's saying, share the live, share the live, share the live. Yeah, yeah, and like. Okay. Thanks, Anthony. You're very kind. Veronica Sandy says, the truth hurts sometimes, George. Yeah, she's referring to the fact that I got, into the doghouse because I told you people that not everybody gets off the cruise ships. Yeah. Well, I got to tell the truth. I worked in the industry long enough. Ernesto Jose says, good morning. Another episode of Education Sunday with our principal, Mr. Grant. Morning, sir, and to one and all, thank you very much, Ernesto. Mecha Man Alexander says, George, all along I had my concern about the numbers given by the GTA. Yeah, it's not just me. It's not just me, but George Grant's an easy target. You understand. That's life. We move on. Margaret says, I don't know, but from my experience, that actual disembarkation... Let me try that again. I don't know. But from my experience, that actual disembarkation figure might be difficult to get unless the GTA does its own count. The ship may be in the best position to do so, since passengers must check out and in when they go on and off the ship. But in most ports, you get off the ship and just walk through the outside. Point well taken, Margaret. But if in fact that is the case, don't you think the authority has a responsibility to get those figures from the cruise ships and tell the people? Just tell the people. That's all. Glenn Andrew Mark says, thanks, Little Angel. He's thanking Little Angel for that piece that she wrote there about teachers. And Peter Bishop is saying, good morning from Long Island, where it's snowing with temperature of 25 degrees Celsius. Take that and eat it, guy. And he's also saying, have a great day. Folks, it's 9:30 on the button. And would you believe it? I told you this guy's a gentleman. My guest has already arrived. You don't believe me? Let me show you something here. Take a look. There he is, Mr. Senator Dunstan Campbell. Well, the senator is going to be with us in just a wee bit, all right? But right now, I'm going to take a little break. We'll do the editorials from the Grenada Advocate and the New Today, and then we'll get to Senator Campbell. So, here we go with our break.
With free island-wide delivery, Hubbard's Building Supplies and Lumber Departments continue to provide the best quality lumber, steel, tiles, plumbing materials, electrical, and general hardware supplies at competitive prices. We continually consult with builders, homeowners, and contractors to improve product range and services. Enjoy discounts where applicable, including the use of credit and debit cards. At Hubbard's Building Supplies, Grenada'S, and Lumber Department, Caranage, we offer quality service, affordable prices, giving you the convenient, reliable, free island-wide delivery. Call 440-2087 for all your home improvement and building solutions.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company, tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive, motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary, public liability, professional indemnity, directors liability, and wait, we still have more. Come and find out more what you're waiting for.
We are located on Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Okay, folks, I see that we've been joined on Rumble Chat by somebody who calls himself or herself Rusty Nails. It's incredible, the names you see showing up on these fora. Also, going back here to Facebook for just a minute, Margaret says, sure, I'm not disputing that. Or they can add a truth in the disclosure line that says something like, ship capacity is no guarantee of actual visitors disembarking. Ha! Perchance to dream. Perchance to dream. Yeah, girl. Margaret ought to know. Margaret is somebody who has cruised a lot. And she knows darn well that when you pull into a port, not everybody gets off the ship. It would be nice if they did, assuming we can accommodate that. Anyhow, it's now 27 minutes away from 10 o'clock. Let's turn to our first of two editorials this morning. And this one comes to you from the Grenada Advocate. It is captioned, "Be prepared for Brexit." It is very likely that Brexit will either become a reality or closer to that in 2019. And with that, all kinds of implications for Grenada's and the Caribbean's relations with the former mother country. Countries of this region can point to a lot of benefits they have received from close ties with the United Kingdom, whether they be trade in both goods and services, investments in the same two areas, and international support. In fact, many see the UK as a supportive ally for CARIFORUM, Caribbean community countries, and the Dominican Republic in getting concessions outlined in their economic partnership agreements, which was signed in Barbados in 2008. However, there are several others who fear that with the UK's likely exit from the European Union, we will have to rewrite those relations should there be a Brexit deal and the loss of that support. People in the UK had voted 3 years ago in a referendum to end their country's association with the European Union. It was reported that the contentious Brexit deal, which MPs across parties and from both sides of the Brexit debate are unable to reach a common ground, are still hanging over their heads. In his column this week, David Jessup remarked that in March of 2019, the UK government will, if its parliament agrees, begin a 2-year process of detachment from the European Union. For us in this part of the world, we can only look on with interest. The most significant feature of our relations with the UK are the visitors who come to these shores from that all-important market. Weak economic growth, a relatively weaker pound sterling, and Brexit were the factors affecting the UK market. Some analysts have spoken about the need for this region to seek out new relations with the UK. As far as trade matters are concerned, Jessup also addressed the possibility of what could happen post-Brexit. He reasoned that the UK and CARIFORUM will agree on trade access equivalent to that granted under the EU CARIFORUM Economic Partnership Agreement. However, the region will lose its supportive voice in EU decision-making, just as the political center of gravity in the EU is changing. Certainly, all of this gives rise to the requirement for the Caribbean community states to get their acts together and come together to forge greater unity. These countries have been at this integration policy for many years. Some progress has been made, but more needs to be done. As a unified group, the Caribbean islands stand a better chance to take on the rest of the world, which is becoming very divided. That, Pilgrims, is your editorial, which appeared in this past week's edition of the Grenada Advocate. We'll get to the new today in just a wee bit. But first, let me turn my eyes here back to Rumble Chat. We've now been joined by Mary Campbell. Tessa Barry is saying, good morning, George. Good morning, all, and wishing a blessed day. She's locked in. Oh, glad you're not locked out. Tessa, thanks for joining us. Okay. So, right now, let us take another break here, and we'll come back with the new today.
Hey, Lynn.
Hey, neighbor.
Here's the bill I asked you to pay for me.
How did you get your electricity bill to be so low?
For one, we size our transformers just for what we need. And we unplug transformers, chargers, and other devices when they're not in use. We also replaced our light bulbs with LEDs.
They burn less energy, right?
Much less. I even replaced the seal on my refrigerator door to keep the cold air in.
And Grenlec is always advising us not to open the fridge too often.
That's right. And my family washes and irons in bulk.
With fuel prices changing all the time, how do you know if it is working?
We pay attention to the usage history table. Over time, our average usage has decreased.
So while Grenada can't control fuel prices, I can conserve energy and save money.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Alrighty, folks, it's now 18 minutes away from 10 o'clock. Here comes our final editorial before we get to our in-house guest. This comes to you from the New Today. This editorial is captioned, Looming Crisis. There is indeed an emerging crisis within the judiciary in Grenada, and Monday's protest action by lawyers to express their disgust with the situation is rather late in coming. The government's own legal department is in serious crisis, given the recent exodus of some of the legal people to ply their trade elsewhere. Grenada has been without a Solicitor General for several weeks since the departure of Attorney-at-Law Dwight Hosford to take up a more lucrative contract as Attorney General of the British dependency of Anguilla. Hosford decided to move on with his career in light of the apparent decision taken by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell not to elevate him to the post of Attorney General as agreed between the two shortly after the March 13, 2018 general elections. Within weeks of Hosford's exit, a female lawyer in the department handed in her resignation and moved in with a private law firm and a competent legal secretary who walked out of her government job for greener pastures in the private sector. The situation in the legal quarters of government took another nosedive within the past week, with the departure of Registrar of the Supreme Court, Alana Twum Barrymah, who quit the job, allegedly, over frustration. The government is seemingly too preoccupied at the moment with the political explosive situation on its hands of the 25% dispute with teachers and public officers on their gratuity and pension payments. Monday night's appearance of Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell on GBN's Beyond the Headlines program sent a chilling signal from the head of the government on his commitment to obey the laws of the land and the judiciary. The Prime Minister made it clear that he has no intention to go back to the old colonial legislation of the 1950s that was carried over into 1974 Independence Constitution that addressed the issue of pension for public officers. The only interpretation that one can deduce from the utterances of Dr. Mitchell is that he would be prepared to disobey any court order that gives the green light to the 25% as demanded by the unions representing the affected workers. There are several lawyers on the government side. Foreign Affairs Minister Peter David, Legal Affairs Minister Kendra Mathurin-Stewart, and Senators Kim George and Kathesha Williams, who know better and should have cautioned the PM about making such a public statement of defiance towards the judiciary. The New Today would hate to think that these lawyers are fearful of speaking out and distancing themselves from what appears to be the growing dictatorship and one-man rule in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. The evidence has been hitting us straight in the face for a long time of the disregard of PM Mitchell and his government for the independence of the judiciary. The people of this country should not forget the blatant attempt made by the Prime Minister and his cabinet of ministers to ride roughshod over the protocol put in place by the OECS Chief Justice to elevate lawyers to the prestigious rank of Queen's Counsel. The regime was bold-faced enough to single out two lawyers in private practice, Ruggles Ferguson and Derek Sylvester, for elevation, when it is clear that the move should originate from the Grenada Bar Association. No one would have raised eyebrows if the government had recommended lawyers in their employ for QC, rather than trying to extend its hands into the private bar to decide who from among them should be elevated in the profession. The Mitchell-led government has also been squandering too much taxpayers' money with little regard for value, or little regard to value for money. It used up thousands of dollars from the Treasury to prepare the Lime building on the Carnage to house a number of high courts, and within months had to abandon it in light of health-related concerns. It shows that no proper inspection was done by government on the building with the use of its departments like the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Labor. The New Today is convinced that the NNP, as a government, has a problem on its hands and needs a new lease on life in going forward. The 72-year-old Prime Minister is showing signs of tiredness and needs to exit the scene for much younger and fresher legs to take over the reins of government and inject some new life into the government and the running of the nation's affairs. The party should make the bold move of looking at someone else among the 14 elected members of Parliament to take charge of the country. This individual might bring a different and particular mindset to the many problems plaguing the country, including the 25% issue with teachers and public officers, the looming judicial crisis, and signs of massive mismanagement of several statutory bodies under the watch of the aging PM Mitchell. That, Pilgrims, is the editorial which appeared in this past week's edition of the New Today. It is now 10 minutes away from the hour, 10 minutes away from the hour. Let's see, okay, nothing there on Facebook at the moment. So, let's take another break, and we'll come back with Senator Dunstan Campbell. I got him back, got him back. It's one of those people, you know, we ask a lot of people from government to come out and be on the program, chat with us, give us their perspective. This gentleman has never let me down. Okay, Sandra Barrell on Rumble Chat says, "Hi, George. Back in Grenada for the 3-month Canadian winter. 30 years now, and wondering why I forgot from last year. I can't hear your program on radio like I did for years. Only able to hear on the net." Well, Sandra Barrell, not only are you able to hear on the net, you can see us on the net, huh? Take a look. Take a look. Yeah, I know. Sandra, listen, I get this every day I walk the streets of St. George. A lot of people are very saddened, but I had just had enough. Enough. And those of you who have been with us for the last 14 years, you understand. By the way, in less than a month from now, next month, we start a 15th year of doing this program. 15 years. But it really got to me. True confession. It's not a matter of running away. I had just had enough, and I asked myself, why am I putting myself through this, trying to serve my country? So I decided to pull the plug. But things change, and who knows? One day, maybe back. Never know. Here comes our little break, and then we'll get to Senator Campbell.
Together with you, our customers, we energize our community.
Together with you, we energize our economy.
We are working together to give our nation a better tomorrow.
With you, we energize our future. Together, we energize our nation.
Thank you for partnering with us
as we energize our spice side.
Renlec, energizing our Grenada.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Okie doke, folks. It's 7 minutes away from the hour. I've kept him waiting for a few minutes, and I apologize. He was early. Let us say good morning to this young man who's sitting here, Senator Dunstan Campbell, who is now the man in charge of, the man heading up agriculture in this place. Huh?
Well, not only agriculture, but fisheries also.
Fisheries
agriculture and fisheries, yes.
Somehow, sometimes people tend to put fisheries and agriculture into one basket. Is that?
Yes, it is so, because originally when FAO defined agriculture, it was agriculture, forestry, and fisheries.
Yeah.
So, but these days you find there's sort of a separation, you know, forestry has gone by itself, fisheries and agriculture now stands alone.
Okay.
But they still work together. I mean, if you look at what is happening with regards to the project, the Ridge to Reef project takes in forestry, agriculture, and fisheries.
Okay.
You know, so it's all.
All right.
But it's a question of administration, I guess.
Is this your first bout in politics?
Yes, it's my first bout in politics.
And okay, so you've been in there since the last election. Is it safe to say that you're all settled in now?
Well, I'm settled in, but I still have to learn the processes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's my first year, and there are lots of things to learn in this position. And well, of course, I'm excited.
It's going to take time.
Yeah, so I think I'm doing fine.
It's going to take time.
It's going to take time. Yes.
Yeah.
It's always a learning process, just like education.
Everything else.
Yeah. Continuous education.
Yeah. Now, agriculture is very, very important to us as a country, okay? We have been blessed with some of the most fertile land anywhere on earth, okay? Are you pleased with the state of the sector that you have now inherited? You know, you're the man who has to try and take us forward. Are you pleased with what you found?
Well, yes and no. Yes, in the sense that we still have motivated farmers who are willing to produce and, you know, take on the task of the food security portfolio. No, in terms of the commitment of the leadership to take on some of the challenges. They talk very well, but you're not seeing the action. You know, backing up with their statements. But yes, it is a yes and no situation.
They talk very much, but you're not seeing the actions to follow up. Where have I heard that before? Where have I heard that before?
I hope it's not from me.
no, not from you. So obviously you've got a challenge on your hands. Are you ready for it?
It is a challenge, you know, and I am in touch with them. I decided that I would not act alone. I would actually form an alliance with the leadership, with the people in the Ministry of Agriculture, to understand what they're doing, and of course to give my input on the farmer side as far as we would like to see agriculture going. I mean, if you listen to the statements made by the leadership, again, you refer to them as the leadership, they are all right. But when you trace it on the ground, you see a different story, you know.
Yeah.
And I guess during this program we'll talk about marketing and marketing board and other things like that. You know,
Senator, we could talk about anything your little heart desires here this morning. I'm really, really game. And by the way, I just saw a note here on Facebook. This person, I don't know if you know somebody by the name of Anthony Wendell DeRiggs.
Yes, I know him very well.
You know the character?
Yes, I taught him in school at Shapers College.
That's what I'm learning here. It says, George, a special good morning to my favorite teacher, Dr. Dunstan Campbell. I still remember the gems that came from his mouth when he so eloquently lectured at SJCSS. He says, I feel blessed seeing him this Sunday morning. Looking forward to catching up with him very soon. Looking good. So yes, you got at least one fan out there.
Yes.
I hope you realize that you got, obviously you got your hands full, because you know one of the challenges and one of the frustrating things about this country today has a lot of people up in arms is that a lot of people are making suggestions, but we're not seeing the follow-up.
Yes.
Because key people who are in positions to enable those suggestions and ideas to be implemented just aren't listening, Senator, just aren't listening. Tell me that you have a lot of metal and you're going to keep on plugging away regardless.
Well, no, I can't give up. I mean, I am now a farmer because that's what I do, you know, for most of the time that I have besides being in these organizations. And then that's my whole profession. I mean, my education, my BSc, MSc, PhD were all associated with agriculture and rural development. So it is ingrained in me, you know. And I come from, you know, my mother was actually a worker on the Dunstan estate. So I have been, you know, part of it right through my life, you know. And no, I would not sit by and allow some of these issues to just roll by, and I know that I can provide an input. And this is what I'm doing. This is why I have actually taken up this post, or the senatorial post, because I feel that I can make a contribution. I have made a contribution. In fact, one of the things that really makes me feel good is that as I travel through the Caribbean, in every ministry today, right from Guyana to Jamaica, you know, someone will call up and say, thank you, Dr. Campbell, because you have taught me, and I am using some of those things there. Right through. I mean, in agriculture and fisheries, you know, right through. You know. So that makes me feel good that I am making a contribution, and I would like to continue to do that.
Somebody else here, actually a couple of people here, again, impressed with you. Somebody named Kalyan Ragbasing says, hi, Dunstan, told you can do it. Just be nationalistic, neutral, and professional. I know you cannot be bought.
Yeah, you know, I would stick with my community. I would stick with the farmers and the professionals, right, who are in this field to make things good. Because agriculture is so important to us. I mean, sometimes people say, you know, use loose statement like agriculture is the backbone of the economy. Then you say, okay, it is the backbone of the economy. What are you doing to strengthen it? And we're seeing that it's just the opposite. Because in Grenada, and I mentioned that in the budget, in my budget presentation, and it's in the National Agricultural Plan, that agriculture is losing. The lands for agriculture is being alienated to other sectors at a rapid rate. Right. And if we continue to do that, and we are moving into sectors that are very fickle, you know, they can perform today, but tomorrow, whop, they're gone. And then we would be in a situation, you know, floating, right? Because we need to feed ourselves. We need to earn foreign exchange. We need to build communities. All of these things are what agriculture can deliver. And I think we are forgetting this, especially the one on culture, you know, to the Grenadian attitude, the Grenadian style, the Grenadian, you know, even the way we speak, the way we communicate. Dialect. You know, yes. It's all part of that rural being, you know, so that we need to preserve it. We need to.
Hazel Ferguson is agreeing with the Riggs here. She says, I must agree with you. Mr. Campbell was one of my favorite teachers. Huh? Yeah.
It seems as if the whole St. John's Christian Secondary School old students or past students are listening to this program.
You heard him? He called all you old.
No, I can't say that to Hazel. I can't say that. Past student.
Dunstan, listen, you know, I know you want to talk about marketing, and I have some questions along those lines as well. But first of all, I want you to get into what do you envision as the major challenges right now sitting in front of you?
The management of the sector. I think we have dropped the ball. We spent lots of money training people, professionals, to man the sector. But we did not put in place a succession plan. So what we are seeing today is that Grenada, which was up there doing well, or moving up the ladder, the people who have brought them there, right, are now leaving, and there are no one to take over. So to me, they would drop further down again and then have to rebuild. And this, to me, is a very serious crisis. And then also there is the lack of, I would call, fund or resources to support the sector, or institutions like the propagation unit, the soil testing laboratory, the tissue culture lab, which once did such a good job, and they're now off the scene. I don't see an agriculture being very performant without these institutions being very active and taking a lead role in the development of agriculture in Grenada. And to me, that's the worrying part. You know, for instance, we have lots of programs. If you were to look at the budget and some of the things that were mentioned in the budget, like the SIAP program, which offers around the $16 million over the next 6 years for agriculture and rural development. You have AgriCom, $4 million US for the next, I think, few years. I mean, the funding for the development of agriculture and rural development is there. It's a question I am worried about its utilization, so that the impact of that injection of capital, would it make a difference? And that's my sort of a concern.
Well, you know, you mentioned a little while ago the lack of funding, and something that quickly jumped to mind is it seems that we can always find funding for certain projects, but certain things that are very crucial. You're talking about agriculture here right now, but this past week, big issue. Why can't we find the funding for the fixing of the judiciary?
Well, that's another thing.
that's it. We ain't getting into that right now.
I'm not going to get there.
But you understand where I'm coming from. It seems like, yes, I would admit, we're still a poor country, okay? Yeah. But we seem to be able to find resources for certain things which John Q. Public may not believe have priority.
Well, let me say that at this time, I think it is much easier to find funds for agriculture because of the climate change environment. So once you fix agriculture, fisheries, and the environment into that portfolio of climate change, it is easier than other sectors, I would say. So most of the projects that I've just mentioned are all based in the climate change agenda.
Okay.
You see, so it's easy to get funds, and there are lots of, well, I won't say lots, but there are funds out there that we can access for our development. I don't know if the judiciary system has that same facility, or if it's available out there with the same ease. So
yeah. I see here Tessa Barry says, George, hi to these two distinguished I thought there was only one distinguished gentleman, the one sitting over here. Tessa Barry is a young lady who's been studying agri. You know Tessa?
Yeah, I know Tessa.
Oh, yeah. Boy, she's really gung-ho. I bet she's going to make quite a contribution to agriculture here.
Well, yes, I know she presented her PhD, but she did not email me to tell me what happened. And I emailed her, and she did not respond. So, Tessa, please respond.
Get on the ball, Tessa. Get on the ball.
Yes, let me know what's happening.
Okay.
But yes, I'm glad that she is there. She has chosen agricultural extension as a profession. Good choice. And I hope she can make that impact on her, in the region, and of course nationally also, because at that level, it is very difficult for one country to hold you down. So I would hope that she would provide some of services to Grenada, as she would, I'm sure, to the region and the world maybe.
I get the feeling that she's somebody who really wants to make a contribution to agriculture. She's always, every time you talk to her, it's agriculture, which I admire. I really respect. Let me ask you this now. Okay, she's a young lady. From your perspective, and having spent a few months now in the Senate, yes, I've heard your concerns already, but do you feel that we're doing enough to generate enough interest in the sector from the young people? You mentioned at the top of this conversation that, a lot of the people who were holding the fort, if you will, they're moving on. So we need a young cadre of replacements. Are we doing enough, Senator?
Well, George, I've been hearing this dialogue for some years now. It's a long time, but I'm not seeing the results. Really, I'm not seeing the results. When we look at the statistics of the people who are involved in agriculture, we still see a significant amount of persons who are above 50 years being providing the leadership on the farm, or the owners. There are reasons for this, right? Getting lands to begin with is a difficult thing, right? And most of the people who want to get into agriculture, the young persons, they come from situations where they cannot rely on their parents to come forth with money to buy lands, or to lease lands, or to buy the necessary equipment to get them started. And I don't know, of any program that seriously offers that sort of assistance. I was a little bit disappointed here in Grenada when we talked about the government estates that were going to be divested. I thought with all the discussion on the youth in agriculture, at least they would have had one or two of these estates devoted to youths, so that we can see and monitor their involvement in agriculture. But I didn't see that. And I hope I understand, the Diamond and another one that's going to be divested. And I really hope that the government would take on board the youth and make sure that, so that there is a connection between what you say and what you do. There's a lot of talk about agriculture. It's like a political capital, right? Yeah. But I am not seeing the utilization of that capital enough, right? Enough. And there are reasons for that, and we have to change the game. We have to change the enabling environment so that younger persons can get into agriculture.
It's often been said that the young people today would rather play around with their computers and their smartphones and so on, rather than putting their hands in the soil. I've heard that said. You agree with that?
Well, I've heard that, but I really don't. I wouldn't say yes. It's a strong statement. In fact, I think that the young people would like to get into agriculture. But young people would not get into agriculture under the same conditions like our forefathers,
Sure.
Just to be an agriculturalist and not regard for the benefits coming out of it, like the monetary benefits.
Right.
Monetary benefits for the younger guy is more important than the cultural benefits, right? Or food security benefits. So we need to pattern ourselves based on that sort of thinking, that new environment in which those guys will get involved in. And once we do that, I think there will be I don't see, for example, a young person having been given a situation where you have, let's say, 5 acres of land and you can earn $20,000 a month, and he say, no, I wouldn't put my hand in the mud. He will put more than his hand in the mud to get $20,000 a month. And it is possible. It is possible that you can do that. I mean, the young people, they are energetic, they can work, right? But you need the leadership, you need the environment to get them there. Because these young persons, you have to do more than just teaching them about agriculture. You have to teach them about finances. You have to teach them about life itself, you know. And if you don't do that, then you would miss the opportunity. Yeah, you would really miss it.
You know, there's a note here from somebody named Lori Bridgman. I don't know whether you agree with this or not, but Lori on Facebook says, "Good morning. Sorry to say, agriculture is dead. Sorry, is a dead end right now. They should close that ministry. No money for roads, so where will we start?"
Yeah, well, no, I think that is an overstatement.
Okay.
You cannot close down agriculture. I mean, then you ask yourself, where are you going to get your food from? And you know, with all that is being said now about our food system that is being challenged with all sorts of things getting into our food system, that's not good for us. Well, we need to produce our own food. We need to know what we produce. I can understand some people are really disappointed, but no, I wouldn't go that route. There are opportunities for young people. The last program, the MARE program, there are individual young farmers who got into this thing and are now doing well, right? And I believe that with the SIRE program, which succeeded the MARE program, can do the same thing. Well, of course, with the leadership, again, leadership is always there, right? Yes, but it's not going to be dead. We produce a significant amount of food for our people and for our guests. We know that we have to step up the game because the standards that are being asked for by the hotel industry, for instance, is a little higher than what we are presently doing. But we can get there. Again, if that's where the extension services come in, right? You need to teach those guys. And I keep saying as my best example is that of bananas. We have learned how to produce bananas to the extent that a farmer with half an acre of bananas was actually producing bananas that went directly into Sainsbury, directly from his farm to Sainsbury. It packed in plastic bags with Sainsbury written on it, the weight and the price, and it got there because we met that quality. So we can meet the quality for the hotel, the hotel and trade. But what happened with bananas was the extension support. You know, you had extension and research support, and we can do it we can do it. We can do it. I'm confident.
And that lack of extension support, I would imagine, comes from a lack of will. You know, it just boils down to whether or not agriculture is a priority.
That's right. Huh? I think sometimes I hear that, and sometimes I say, no, I don't believe it. But more and more I am getting to, I think those guys really don't like us.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you something here. Somebody named Dimly Dowden, I like that name, Dimly Dowden.
Dowden, yeah.
Says, as a past student of SJCESS, Dr. Campbell is the best in this area. He will encounter obstacles, but has the ability to do an excellent job. Good luck, Dr. Campbell.
Well, thank you, Dowden. I would like to do that. I mean, this is my intention, and I'm not going to give it up.
Anthony Howard says, nice discussion. This representative doesn't sound like a politician.
Well, I am not really a politician. Remember, I'm an independent senator representing the interests of farmers and fishers.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm there. I'm not. It's true that there are several issues taking place right now: the CCJ, and so on and so forth. Yes, I'm interested as a citizen, right? I'm interested in those, but for me, my portfolio is agriculture and fisheries.
Okay.
And I will defend that with all the strength I have.
Right to the end. Davinley Leo says, it's all good to produce and be self-sufficient. My question is for export. We are still experiencing difficulties in getting the produce out to North America. Packaging is another problem. How does his ministry intend to deal with these problems?
Well, I think I wouldn't like to answer that question for the ministry, but I would like to answer the question in any way. I think we need to again follow the example of the banana industry. Right? The banana industry went through all of this in terms of the value chain. And there I would like to bring in marketing board. A marketing board, as far as I'm concerned, is not playing that role that it ought to play to its fullest extent. We look at produce that can be with great export potential, passion fruit, golden apples, soursop, and I can go down the line and list several crops that marketing board can play a part, an important part, a pivotal role. But I'm not seeing that, and they have the potential to do it. To me, that is worrying. And as senator, I would follow up this, and and I'll talk for the next few years that I have as a senator to bring out that problem in public, and let's discuss it. Why is it that marketing board is not taking that lead role in marketing?
Well, they have a little headache right now. So.
Yeah, well, yes, I mean, they have a headache, and we need to, well, I say a headache, they have a problem, and yeah, we need to get down to the problem.
Tessa Barry says, George, Dr. Campbell was chosen by the university as a member of my advisory committee. His work towards agricultural development is extensive. We have to also get serious about going in the direction of value added.
Yeah, of course. We need to go to value added. We need to go more along the value chain. Right? We cannot just continue selling fresh fruits and vegetables like this. We need to go, and if we are selling fresh fruits and vegetables, we need to have a foot into the value chain. Again, I come back to banana because that's my teaching example of our success story with value chain. We were exporting bananas to the United Kingdom, and Geese bought the bananas right on our port here. And we were told that this was the only point where banana production was unprofitable. It was not profitable, right? Once it gets on a boat, it is profitable. It lands in Britain in the cold storage, it is profitable. It is sold, it's profitable, but the production was not profitable. So what we had to do was to go into shipping. So you had Wibdeco went into the shipping of its banana, so they went into a profitable sector. And then they went into ripening so then they went into a profitable sector. And by so doing, they were able to inject some of that profit to the production part of the system, so that the system, which normally would have been unprofitable, became profitable and allowed farmers to remain. But there were many other challenges. And of course, we know that today, Grenada is not exporting bananas, not because of what I've just explained, but because of pest and disease problems that we've had, the black Sikatoga and the Moko disease and so on. It's really a big challenge for us. But the other islands are still producing. And we need to do that. We need to get along the value chain. The nutmeg industry has to do it, right? We have to stop shipping just the pods, right, and the seeds and whatever, and go into value-added products.
Over the years, there's been a lot of talk about diversifying exports, and not too long ago, we heard that a lot of soursop was being exported. And that's one of the things that concerns me. You drive around this country and you see a lot of fruit, like bananas, and not bananas, but mangoes and stuff like that, rotting on the side of the road. How well is this export of soursop doing?
Well, it is doing well. The last report, in fact, from the PS, when the PS Jessime was with agriculture, she said for the year 2018, I think, they exported $10 million dollars worth of soursop, which is good. But that industry is being challenged again because we do not have the support system behind it. Because there are diseases now that's affecting the soursop industry. And we are not prepared. We're not prepared to deal with those diseases. So investment that once looked very good are now being, it's very shaky. And lots of farmers have gotten into soursop production because from the figures, it's a good investment, right? But if you're going to have your plants not producing, or your plants producing fruits that are not marketable, then you know what's happened. You know, so that investment can go down. So they have to urgently address the research problems because the marketing, okay, there is a market, there's a means to get to the market. There are means to get to the market, and you know.
Margaret Francis is listening to you in New York right now and watching it.
Yeah.
And she says, it's ironic that we should be talking about value-added products. I'm old enough to remember Grenada starting to do exactly that with the spice products. Remember the tamarind, guava, nectars, etc.? Well, what did we do? Instead of building on that, we mash it up and now want to rebuild. Shaking my damn head. Huh?
Well, listen, I would like to tell our listener, Margaret, that the tradition is still there. There are people who are producing some very good products. But you know what's our problem, George? We all want to remain small. We don't want to cooperate so that we can actually access the market that's asking us. If you go to these trade shows, agricultural trade shows, and you see the products that are being produced by Grenadians in their kitchen, I mean, you'd be amazed. But this is not going to solve our problem. We have to get there with this product, come together, right? And that's where we lack this trust among. So I am producing something that's good. Another one is producing, but I don't want to come together and make it bigger because the market is asking for sizable quantities, and we do not have that in the first instance. So for those who market a very small amount, continue to do well, right? Well in inverted commas, right? But we can do much better, right? And we can do much better in the sense of what we do now and what we are not doing in terms of using all those mangoes and other fruits that just go wasting. We can do much better on that. But again, we have to have the structure, the cooperation, and I believe in cooperatives, really. And I think the cooperative department must step up its game, right? You know, and get there and do a better role, you know, perform better, I should say, than in the agricultural sector, agriculture and fisheries sector.
There's a note here on Rumble Chat from Ernesto Jose. He says, bring back the Marabou Training School.
Of course.
Agro-industry and more money from the budget will encourage the youths to go back to the soil.
Yes, I agree with that. I agree with that statement. Bring back the Marabou Farm School. Bring back our teaching institutes so that we can get from the school to the farm. And we will see a difference.
Yeah.
There will be a difference.
All right. Vernon Louison says, I don't know where Vernon is, but he says, it's about time someone of the caliber of Dr. Dunstan Campbell. You guys are making this man blush. Come on. Come on.
I know Vernon.
Oh, you know Vernon?
I know Vernon.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Vernon,
hello, Vernon. How are you?
You're making the man blush here.
Yes.
Anyhow, he says, it's about time someone the caliber of Dr. Dunstan Campbell take on the reins of leadership in Grenada. And it's Grenada, not Grenada. Okay. He says he brings to that role a plethora of professional and educational experience to Grenada. Cherish the brilliance of the son of the soil. He is one of our best. Yeah.
Well, I thank you very much, Vernon, for that comment, and I hope to step up my game to those comments.
Marcus Forrester says, government first has to seek a market for a product to sell to Europe and sign a lifetime contract to sell.
I didn't get that. Oh.
Yeah, it's hard for me too. Marcus says, government first has to seek a market for a product
Okay, that I understand.
To
Yes.
sell to
Yeah.
Europe.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then sign a lifetime contract.
Well, you wouldn't get a lifetime contract. I mean, you would get a contract for a certain number of years. That is not done really, lifetime contracts. But seeking markets, that's the responsibility of the marketing board, right? Marketing board, according to its mandate, is to export the products that are not being exported by the cocoa and nutmeg industry. The traditional crops go to cocoa and nutmeg, and marketing board has the whole range, all the other crops, to look for market. That's why it's called marketing board.
Yeah. Tessa Barry says, Tessa is responding to Ernesto here. She says, if I'm not mistaken, I think the FAO is currently looking into contributing towards development at the Maribel Farm School. I hope it comes to fruition.
Yes, it's work is being done. I know they're increasing they're working on the watering system, the structures. Yes, work is being done at Maribel.
Okay.
But that's not enough as far as I'm concerned. I want to see work being done at Maran, Boulogne, Ashendon, because each center focuses on a different commodity, right? So I would like to see work on all stations. And when that is being done, I'll say, yes, I'm now seeing, I know can see words and action matching, and I would feel comfortable.
Doc, we're running out of time. Running out of time. But I got to ask you this. A lot of people open their eyes real wide when they watch the most recent budget presentation and saw that agriculture got
little,
teeny-weeny little bit. Now, I know you've touched indirectly on that earlier on, but that must have brought a lump to your throat, eh?
Yeah, well, what the response of the government is, yes, it is small, but there are other parts of the budget where work would be done. For example, roads. You would find roads under MAREP, which is not under agriculture, but under different buildings. And certain ministers have got certain programs that involve, for example, greenhouse construction in the St. Patrick's East, right? By the minister there, they're doing some greenhouse installation, which is agriculture. So their argument is that agriculture will be done by other ministers, not the minister. But my concern is coordination. Coordination. I wouldn't want a minister to be doing something that there isn't the support system for it after it is done. You've got a project, you've done something, and when it's finished, who is going to continue the leadership? And that word leadership there to ensure that it delivers what's intended. You know, that's my concern. And the roads, again, is there coordination between the productive sector, the nutmeg and cocoa, right, sector, to say, well, listen, you know, if we get that road to go up, that road was destroyed in Ivan, right, and this is a major nutmeg producing area, but we cannot have access to it, so all the nutmeg are on the ground, right? And just by opening the road, you can see a difference, you know. And of course, I believe strongly that roads, construction of roads must be linked to a land use policy. I don't think government should continue building roads, and as soon as the road is completed, then the agricultural lands is transferred to housing, right? And we don't get the use of it. Agriculture does not get the full use of that road. So those two, I would like to see some coordination.
Folks, I want to look at you in the eye here as we approach the end of this segment and have a little heart-to-heart with you. You know, I've seen you folks posting a lot of really, really complimentary statements on Facebook and Rumble Chat about this gentleman. And it's not hard to understand why. I just asked him about the budget. You know, the public went kind of gaga when they heard about the minuscule amount of money that had been assigned to agriculture. And you know what? When I mentioned that to him, he didn't jump all over the government and lambaste them. No, he didn't. He had the gall to say, hey, yes, you know, maybe that little bit was a little bit, my words, disappointing. But they did indirectly put other funds into agriculture, okay? It takes a man with guts to do that. Having said that, it's not hard to, you folks obviously know this man better than I do. Just judging from the comments you guys are posting here. So, Dunstan, I salute you, sir. You got the people of this country behind you.
Oh, yes, but the task is monumental, right? It's monumental. And I would like to see, at the end of my tenure, a difference. I would like to see agriculture taking its rightful role. Agriculture ought to be the lead sector in the economy. The lead sector. And unless and until agriculture and fisheries become the lead sector, I will not give up. You know, I will ensure that agriculture, and you know, one of the things that's not mentioned in the budget is organic agriculture. And I don't see how they could go with this pure Grenada and all these kind of things that they don't have.
Well, let me tell you, this pure Grenada, I hope you are able to listen, or you can even sit around here if you want, because in a little while I've got somebody coming on from New York, a guy named Gerry Hopkin. You know Gerry?
I think so. I think I do.
Gerry is going to be talking with us about this pure Grenada issue, because that's something that really rubs him the wrong way, okay? He's going to be talking with us about that. So, Dunstan, let me say good luck. I know you got your hands full, but I'll tell you, it is so reassuring to sit here, and I can just feel it. You know, you're not a typical politician babbling for votes. You're saying how you feel from the heart. And you're sharing your concerns and your desire to do things for this country. And let me tell you, folks, give him the extra push that he needs. We need more people like this. We need more people like this when it comes to the governance of our country. Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you very much, George. And I want to thank all the listeners and the comments. I appreciate it. Yeah. It's encouraging. Yeah.
I mean, even me, they don't beat up on, so. No, I'm only kidding. No, we got, they're good people out there.
Yeah,
they really are. Unfortunately, the ones who get cheesed off and ticked off are usually the ones who are a little bit more vocal, you know. But it's good. Glenn Andrew Mark says, Tessa Barry, I nominate you as the next... as the next Ministry of Agriculture, working with Dr. Campbell. And Glenn, I guess you meant the next Minister of Agriculture.
Yeah.
So you got.
But that's the youth. That's the youth taking over from the old guys like me. Yeah. So I expect that too. I expect that. That's my expectation.
Margaret Redhead Fletcher says, "How is it that the video has suddenly stopped playing at such an interesting juncture in this discussion?" I don't know, because I'm seeing the video, everything's playing here. Check your computer, Margaret. And Laurie Bridgman says she wishes you luck.
Yeah. I thank you for your compliments.
They're on your side, my friend. They're on your side. Hey, Lawrence Kruthoff. Do you know this gentleman?
No.
I'm still not sure that I'm pronouncing his last name right. It's Kruythoff. Lawrence Kruthoff says, "Hi, Mr. Grant, good morning. I'm a farmer in banana, etc., and I am enjoying this program. Hi, Marcus, Cornelius, and Kelly, and thanks to Mr. Campbell." Huh? I don't know who this Lawrence is, but let me tell you.
Well, I get these comments from all over. In fact, last week I got a call from St. Lucia, Rudolph St. Hill, someone I worked with as an extension officer, and he was elated to find out that I'm still around and that I'm in politics and that I'm going to help Grenada. So he's asking, come back to St. Lucia to help us again. I don't think that's possible.
Well, let me tell you, they ain't through with you yet, because hold on a minute here. I'm just glancing over. Okay. Ernesto Jose says, "Great interview, Mr. Grant and guest." And Mary Campbell, Mary has published something here that's really long. And Mary, I'm going to take a shot and hope that you took your time and typed this, because I want to share your comments, but you guys embarrass me over and over again. So let me try. "Thank you, Mr. Grant, for glissing over the following." For glissing over the following? How does Mr. Dunstan Campbell intend to represent farmers differently as compared to past representatives? Has he considered and will put in place a system, method, means for consultation, feedback, and advice from organizations, groups, and the people whose interest he represents Further, will the senator impress on the government to raise the $16 million required for implementation of the Grenada Nutmeg's sector development strategy 2010 to 2015, or is he prepared to kickstart the process of raising the funds? How many of those can you answer?
Well, one of the first point you made about having a base.
It's a he. I think it's a he.
He or she is valid. I am working on this. I want to reorganize the Grenada Federation of Agriculture and Fisheries Organization so that they can be my support and background information system, so that when I speak with. So yes, I agree with her on this. And also cooperatives. I work with the cooperative department to ensure that farmers come together and work, so that farmers and fishers, so that they, when I speak, I reflect what they are saying in the field. So with regards to getting the money for nutmeg, well, I am a nutmeg farmer, and if I can use my influence to get funds for that sector or any other sector, I will do it. Mm-hmm. I mean, my organization has just sourced $500,000 US to work on the marine protected areas. We worked on Woburn and Sandy Island oyster bed. So we are working wherever we can source funds. We will source funds for the development of Grenada agriculture and fisheries.
Way to go, bro. Yes. Way to go, way to go, way to go. Thanks a lot, my gosh, the 10th time I'm saying thanks a lot. By the way, you see that character over there on that other monitor? That's the Gerry Hopkin I was telling you about.
Okay.
Gerry is lining up. He's going to have to wait a little while because we have something else to run before we get to him.
Yeah.
But Dunstan, I want to thank you so much. Yeah. And please, you know, I think we really don't spend as much time talking about agriculture and its importance to us as we do. Yeah. And conversations like what you and I are having, I think, are essential. Yeah. You know, we'd rather talk about the CBI and this and all the commerce in the country, but we need to talk about agriculture a little bit more. And I hope that you're going to continue responding so positively to me every time I call.
Yeah, we need to do that. I agree. Yes.
Thanks a lot, Dunstan.
Thanks, George.
All right.
Yes.
Dr. Dunstan Campbell. There he is. There he is. Yes, sirree. Okay, folks. Now, he's going to be back, I promise you. I'm going to keep haunting him. I really am going to haunt him. Over on my right here, you can't see him yet. Take care, Dunstan. You can't see him yet, but Gerry Hopkin is getting all set up in New York, trying to adjust his camera and all of that. And we're going to get to Gerry in just a wee bit. But I promised you this morning that there are a couple other things as they pertain to the tourism industry that I wanted to talk with you about. Incidentally, as we sit here, I told you this morning about the 35,000 people who came, or supposedly came to this country this past week, okay? The Grenada Tourism Authority issued a video this past week showing the shopping amenities that are available here in Grenada, okay? It was very well produced, and I did run it one day this past week on Good Day Grenada. And because it was so well received, I thought I'd run that by you because I wanted to give this as much exposure as I possibly could. So take a look at this. And after that, I'm going to show you a little jaunt that I made. I think it was maybe a Thursday or Friday. It wasn't Friday, so it was Thursday. Took my smartphone and headed downtown to capture some of the activity on a day when we had two pretty large cruise ships in here, okay? So first of all, let's look at the GTA's marketing piece on shopping in Grenada. dokie, there you have it. Hello, there he is. That was done by the Grenada Tourism Authority about shopping in Grenada. Now, folks, this past week, a release was issued asking Grenadians who commute into the main city here or the main town of St. George to try and find alternative routes in an effort to help ease congestion in downtown St. George. The reason for that is that both Thursday and Friday, we had two pretty large cruise ships in port, okay? So I think it was on Thursday. I decided, yeah, it was Thursday. I decided, let me take my smartphone and take a run into town and see, you know, just how much congestion there was and what sort of activity there was as a result of having these two big ships in town. So off I went. Now I have to tell you that this was I started at about 1:45 in the afternoon. It was hot, as you're about to see. But I want you to watch this and get an idea of what goes on when you have cruise ships in town. Take a look. Yeah, folks, thanks for coming along with me on this little jaunt. It's, boy, it's a really, really sunny afternoon here in St. George. It's maybe just about 10 minutes away from 2 o'clock. And I decided, excuse me, come down here this afternoon. You know, we heard all the talk about the traffic congestion and all of that down here when the cruise ships are in town. So I decided that I would come take a look and see how bad it is with the two ships that we have in here this afternoon. They both came in this morning at about 8 o'clock. Right now I am on Melville Street, and I'm going to go up to the upper deck of the bus terminal and see what it looks like from up there. Yeah, as you can see, Melville Street itself is really not that bad right now, but we're just going to go up the ramp here and take a look at excuse me, the cruise ships from up here. You have the Preziosa Inn. You're not going to be able to see too much of that, but you'll also be able to see the Celebrity. See, that's the Celebrity that you're looking at here. Celebrity Reflection. Take a look, pilgrims. Take a look. And just behind her, you can see the Preziosa. All right, there we go. There we go. A couple of the water taxis here, running them back and forth between Melville Street and Grenada'S, which is off in the distance down there. See some of the many yachts we have anchored offshore. Okay. So that's it from the bus terminal. Okay, there is the Celebrity Reflection. All right, so now we're going along just parallel to the bus terminal, and we're along Melville Street here. A little more traffic as we approach the downtown core. There you go. Vendors on the market, on the sidewalk here. Yeah. You know, a lot of these tourists, they got great food on board, but I'll tell you, when they step ashore, you see a lot of these people, especially when they spot fresh fruit, man, they grab that stuff like you wouldn't believe. And I'll tell you, you see a lot of the crew. A little while ago, I passed by KFC,
there are a lot of people in there. And you can tell they were crew members. They were all wearing their badges. And man, they came to gobble up some good old fried chicken compared to the a little bit more sophisticated menu that they have on board these ships. Yep. Okay. So, going by the old NIS building here on Melville Street, and I want to go down that, I guess you can call it a little alley on the side of the NIS building here. It's actually between NIS and Republic Bank, and when we get to the end of that, we should have a pretty darn good view of the ships. Actually, you look straight ahead. I don't know if this street has a name, but straight ahead you see the Preziosa. And then just a wee bit, you'll see the bow of the Celebration as well. Hope you're enjoying this walk. I'll tell you, the sun is damn hot out here this afternoon. Believe it or not, I know that some of you watching this are probably saying, "Shut up, George, I wish I could be down there." Well, we're here, man. We're here. So, there we go. Coming into view, the view of the Celebrity Reflection. Here we go. Both of these ships going to be in till about 6 o'clock this evening. Hey, not bad. Mags, have you been on one of these? I know you like cruising. Have you been on one of these? Take me the next time you go, you and your mom. Okay, there we go. Here we go. Ain't those two beauts? Hi, how you doing, man? Ain't those two beauts? Wow. One of these days. Although I keep asking myself, you know, I remember the days when I used to work on the Rum Runner. You spent countless hours with a lot of tourists, okay? And I kept on asking myself, why would I, after spending so much time with these people, want to go on a cruise where you got 4,000 of these people on board on one ship? 4,000. Well, I'll tell you, for example, the Preziosa, which is the one off to your left there, I think that's about what she's got. 4,000, 4,300 or whatever. Anyhow, take one final look, and then let's go into the Melville Street Mall and see how things are going in there. Alrighty, folks, we're back on Melville Street, right in front of the Republic Bank, and I'm a little bit surprised. You know, I admit it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so we shouldn't be too surprised at how few of the tourists we're actually seeing, because at this time of the day, I would imagine many are still on board, probably having lunch now, you know, before heading off to the beach this afternoon. Then a lot of people have already gone off on island tours, okay? So therefore, I'm not too surprised about what I'm seeing here. But we're just going to step inside the Melville Street Mall in just a minute and take a look. Let's spend half a sec out here first. Take a look at some of the booths. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you're seeing a few of them. some of these are probably coming back and heading back to the ship for lunch right now. But let's follow them inside and see what's going on in there. Okay? So here we go. Off here, there's Subway. And yeah, inside the mall. Inside the mall. And I bet this property makes a lot of these people feel very much at home. To a large extent, you know, laid out pretty much the same way the towns and cities where they come from. Huh? Yeah. Still again, yes, we're seeing more of them inside here, but I'll tell you, when you consider that there are about 8,000 people here on these two ships today, one would still have expected to see a little bit more activity. So, here we go. Here we go. All right, folks, so one more thing we're going to do before we head back to the studio. We're going to go take a look and see how things are on the market. Right now, we're just walking along Granby Street, approaching KFC off onto the right here, and then we'll go along Halifax Street and see what's going on by the market. Okay, bright and sunny. It's nice and cool around here. Nice strong breeze as well. Okay, okie doke. So here we are at the marketplace. Okay, and a little bit of activity. We're gonna try and make our way through here and see what we come across. Pretty empty, pretty bare. And like I said, it's Thursday afternoon. Right now it's about quarter after 2 o'clock. Empty, 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 empty. Yeah. Oh. There is one little restaurant with a few people. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. Empty. Oh my gosh. Hello. How you doing, big guy?
I'm cool, man.
Where are all your guests today?
Yesterday?
Where are all your guests?
Where are my guests?
Yeah.
The guests are them passing up and down. Sometimes, you know, sometimes they stop and look. Sometimes they might buy something. But now it's kind of slow. Maybe they're going to eat or they're going to drink a beer or something.
Was this morning any better?
It was, yes, much better this morning. Much better.
And you know you got 2 more big ships tomorrow.
We're hoping tomorrow might be a good day. It's Friday. Thank God for Friday. Thank God maybe it might be a good better day tomorrow. And we hope and see.
So far, how has the season been going?
The season...
A lot of people coming.
Give and take. You can give and take. A lot of people coming, but not a lot of people are buying.
Yeah,
not a lot of people are buying, you know?
Yeah.
Some people come just to look. Just so you get the sunlight. just to see the lakes and the falls and, you know?
Yeah, man.
Just to view the island. Go to the Grenada'S beach, go up to St. Patrick, go to Chocolate Factory, you know?
Yeah.
Some people just visiting, some people just, not people, some people don't know how to do with spice, you know? Like the chocolate and stuff, they know, use it to make tea and, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some people know nutmegs are the most selling things right now.
Okay.
Muscat, you know? Some people just buy small things, you know? Sometimes not much, but, you know, we appreciate it.
Every little bit helps.
As small as it will come, we appreciate it. Because what you get now, you didn't come with it this morning, you know?
Yeah.
Thank God for it, you know? So, you're from where?
Yeah, how are things going?
Well, we're just here picking up one. I mean, we can't complain still. Thank God for small mercies. It's not every day it's going to be nice, you know, and then we have to take it one day at a time. We have to satisfy whatever small we get.
Is there any time of the day when you see more tourists than others? Like, do they come out in the morning or in the afternoon?
Yes, more in the morning time, early in the morning. Yeah. Yes.
And I guess in the afternoon they go to the beach.
Yes, they go wherever. So then when they come back, they're tired and they bought already and things like that.
Yeah.
So maybe you have to be like the early bird catches the worm.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
How has this season been compared to last season so far?
Well, so far it's a little better. Not anything too great from last year. It is much a little better this year. Yeah, I hope it will be much more better coming up for the rest of the months coming on. Because it's just the beginning, so we expect it better. Yes.
Well, I was just telling your neighbor here, tomorrow you got 2 big ships.
Yes,
Three.
Yes, I think it's about either 3 or 4.
There are 4 ships, but 3
big ones and 1 small one, yes.
Yeah. Okay, doke.
Thank you.
How are you doing with the tourists today?
Good, no problem.
You had a lot of customers?
Yesterday was better.
Pardon?
Yesterday was better.
And tomorrow you got 3 big ships?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. How is this year compared to last year?
This year to last year is much better than... No, last year was better than this year so far.
Really?
Yeah, because I was out on the street.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So tell me, how the season going?
Well, for me, I'm not going to say it's 100% good. Because where I am on the outside here, I'm struggling. I don't always see tourists every day. Although I will get a small fare every so often. But there's something that is bothering me here today, in this present moment. There are a number of guys on the street here, look at one going there as we're speaking, that walking about all over town with the foreigners. And I would consider this as harassment because some of the foreigners are actually saying so. They would walk with them all over and to try to see if they can get them to sit down in some sort of a bus, something that is, you know, with a number 1, number 2, number 7, or as the case may be, sticker on the windshield. Whereas I am here with a taxi, a registered taxi as a matter of fact. I've gone through all the classes and whatnot and obtained all the certificates and whatnot, and struggling to this point here to actually make $1 to take care of my kids and my family, to even pay the mortgage that I owe and whatnot, etc. It is not a ham and jam situation on a regular basis for me out here. Maybe there are guys who will want to tell you yes, they are doing well, but I can tell you here, the kind of competition that I'm meeting with the guys who don't own a taxi, and they, as a matter of fact, walking about in town here, as you see the same guy just telling you there, look at him, go and see if he has a badge flashing, wearing from the tourism authority, and then you'll know he's authorized to do such. And that is the point I'm making.
Okay. Folks, Gerry, hang on a sec. I'm coming to you. Hang on, Gerry. We got a whole hour ahead of us, but hold on a sec. Folks, a number of comments. This is really heartwarming. A number of comments have been posted both on Facebook and on Rumble Chat. Let me start with Rumble Chat. Rumble Chat says, "Good morning, Grenada. You look great, George. I wish I was there with you. Thanks for sharing." Well, thank you very much. Good morning, Grenada. I look forward to meeting you, whoever you are. Where are you, by the way? Hope to see you someday. Now, let's go to Facebook. Yes, boy. Let's start with Ernesto Jose. And these comments were posted while you were watching the videos, so some of them may not be timely. But Ernesto says, great video. I think it should be distributed to the cruise ships to advertise while they sail to our waters. It will boost up tourism. And he's referring, I would imagine, to the video which I played from the Grenada Tourism Authority. And Ernesto, I would be extremely surprised if that video has not yet been sent to all of the cruise ships. Okay, I'm sure that's, you know, that's one of the reasons why they would do something like that. Mary, I wonder if that's Mary Campbell. Anyhow, Mary on Facebook says, enjoying the sunny walk. You bugger, if you were out there in the hot sun like I was, I don't know how much you'd be enjoying it, but anyhow. Ernesto went on to say, what happened to our food vendors? White Town looks so dead. Where's the tourist on the street? Sad. Yeah, I understand why you're saying that, Ernesto. You put that on there when there was a sort of lull, okay? And by the way, that day there were over 8,000 tourists in port, all right? Now, Grenada Sunshine says, it looks like a Sunday in town. Yeah, okay. Ernesto says, thanks, Mr. Grant, for the videos. Margaret Francis says, yay, GG, been on Celebrity twice. Yeah, they're a pretty popular cruise line. And they, actually, there was another one in here yesterday. Today, by the way, you have the Crystal Symphony. She came in at 8 o'clock this morning and has a capacity of 922. Will be in port until about 4 o'clock this afternoon. And the Carnival Pride, boy, Carnival is a fun ship, let me tell you. Carnival Pride came in also at 8 o'clock this morning and is going to be in port until 5 o'clock this afternoon. Her capacity is 2,124. By the way, this week you do have a number of tourists coming here as well, but I don't think you even have half of what you did this past week. So, let's get back to Facebook now. Debbie, hi Debbie. Debbie Parker says, enjoyed your video very much. It brought back wonderful memories of the Rum Runner. This is the lady I met, I think she's in Missouri right now, or Michigan. And I met her, she's more than 20, 25 years ago. She came through here on a cruise ship, huh? And we've remained friends ever since. She goes on to say here, thank you so much for sharing your home surroundings with us. I loved hearing the music again also. Thank you, George. Well, Debbie, you're very welcome. Take your husband. Come on down for the next cruise. Okay. Margaret says, ooh, that roast corn looks so good. Margaret, do you ever fail to notice food? Everywhere there is food, Margaret's eyes go, and you know what's so ironic about this? This woman is like a twig. She is. But always, if you ever watch us on McWe Chat on a Thursday night, you'll see. Margaret always comes on the program at the start. Anyhow. Ernesto says, I am in disbelief what I'm seeing. Large number. But where are the tourists? They're all on the ship, I guess. And Lori says, true. And then she says, good vibes. And Coylan Nash says, open up the town. The place is open up the town. The place to dead tourism industry needs more life. Whatever. And Ryan is joining us now. Ryan's kind of late. Okay, folks, so there you have it. That's our little piece we did this past week on the cruise ship industry here in town. And I do hope to bring you a lot more of stuff that we shoot in the field in the coming days and weeks and months ahead, okay? We're working on that. Now, I mentioned to you that we're going to be talking with somebody from out there in the diaspora this morning. A friend of mine, known him for a number of years, Mr. Gerry Hopkin. And this is a Gerry with a G, eh? We also have a Gerry with a J on MeckWeChat. Gerry is saddled up and ready to go. And I'm going to take a little break here. And we'll come back and get started with Gerry.
Hey, Lynn.
Hey, neighbor.
Here's the bill I asked you to pay for me.
How did you get your electricity bill to be so low?
For one, we size our transformers just for what we need. And we unplug transformers, chargers, and other devices when they're not in use. We also replaced our light bulbs with LEDs.
They burn less energy, right?
Much less. I even replaced the seal on my refrigerator door to keep the cold air in.
And Grenlec is always advising us not to open the fridge too often.
That's right. And my family washes and irons in bulk.
With fuel prices changing all the time, how do you know if it is working?
We pay attention to the usage history table. Over time, our average usage has decreased.
So while Grenada can't control fuel prices, I can conserve energy and save money.
GrenLec, energizing our Grenada.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Alrighty, folks, it's 10 minutes after 11 o'clock, and time now to say a very good morning to Mr. Gerry Hopkin. Hello there, Gerry.
Hi, George. Good morning to you and to all of your listeners and viewers, as I should add.
Man, listen, this is the second time we try to hook up, and we finally got it right, didn't we?
Well, sort of. They're still optimally. They're still. I wish I had a special that apparatus that you attach your camera to in a well anchored position and all of that. I don't have all of that, but you're seeing me and I'm seeing you, and hopefully, and folks are hearing us. So we're good to go, I guess.
So tell me, are you hanging your camera on a string or what?
George, if you really don't want to see how I have it set up here, but it's working, and that's all that matters right now, I think.
Well, good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us. Gerry, you've been in New York for a long time, right?
Well, yes, much of my life I've been here, but I go back and forth, as you know, and I took a stint when I was there in Grenada for 4 years, just recently, from 2010 to 2014. And I visit often. Most recently, I was there for my mom's departure. She left us. May her soul rest in peace. So I was there for that. And I would always have a reason to be in Grenada. It's home sweet home, and there's no place like the Spice Isle of the Caribbean.
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. Now, what are you doing in New York? I see that you're a consultant and some sort of organizer, social organizer. Are you a socialite?
Well, while I'm native to Grenada, I'm a citizen of the world, and New York is my second home, and I live as if it's the only home. I mean, when I'm in Grenada, Grenada is the only home. When I'm in New York, New York is the only home, and I share both. What I do here is what I would like to do wherever I am. It's community organizing, being involved in the life of the community, working with progressive forces and elements, people who are about making the best of our living situation. The consulting I do, a lot of it has to do with small business development, helping economic empowerment, working with small businesses to do their business plans, their marketing plans, the ad placement, branding, and shaping their image so that they can really reach the potential customers that they would like to. I also do a lot in the political life of the community, working with various candidates on campaigns. I write, I publish from time to time in Caribbean Life and Caribbean Times, and also online as well. Caribbean Life happens to be the largest Caribbean American newspaper in the diaspora. And by the way, one of the editors there is a Grenadian, Kevin Williams from St. John's. Okay. Someone that I'm sure you would know. He used to be with GIS back in the day. So I do that, and I do commentaries. Telling it as it is one of my commentaries. And you know, not too long ago, I did something on our branding or attempt to rebrand the Spice Isle. And but I write on other topics as well. Normally, it's about culture, politics, and economics.
You mentioned rebranding, and I want to talk to you about that in a minute. But before that, there's also a function that you put on every week, or
yes, one of the activities I'm involved with as part of my community organizing. That's just one of the several. Is After Work Networking Wednesdays. We started off as a weekly event, but we've streamlined it. We do it now as a monthly. I do that alongside my co-host Edmund Sadio of Century 21 Achievers Realty. Edmund Sadio is a realtor, and he's been doing it for 28 years. He's the only minority, the only Caribbean American who owns a franchise with the massive Century 21 Achievers, 21 Century here in the U.S. His particular franchise is called Century 21 Achievers Realty. He's been doing it for 28 years now in Compton, and also with Cheryl Vincent, who's from Grenada, from St. John's, the daughter of Flory Duncan, a Calypsonian of the past, a Grenadian musician and Calypsonian. She's a recording artist herself, a registered nurse and community organizer. I am the coordinating co-host of this event, and we've been doing it for over 3 years now. We started off as a weekly, and now we do it as a monthly, every last Wednesday of each month. What we do is a forum where we bring established entrepreneurs, business owners, aspiring entrepreneurs, community leaders, investors, and folks, concerned residents, people who want to make a difference in their lives and in the life of the community so that we can be more economically empowered. And it's been happening and doing just that. Our slogan is networking matters and it works. Okay. And by the way, all three of us, the co-hosts, are members of the Caribbean American Chamber of Commerce and Industry, an organization, the largest minority chamber in the U.S., and the founder is a Grenadian, Dr. Roy Hastick. And so
that was founded by him?
Yeah, he founded CACI.
Okay.
Well, he's the primary co-founder of CACI, and he's not doing too well these days, and he's in our press, but he's continuing to shepherd that ship, and they're doing great things. They're about to have a massive trade center open on Flatbush at Caton. For those who've been up here, they will know where that is. And in that building, they would have also affordable low-income housing available for residents of the central Brooklyn area. And they'll have a chamber and incubators, space for small businesses that are just getting off the ground, so that they can mentor and assist in economic development, especially for minority-owned businesses in New York City. And I'm very much a part of that. So After Work Networking Wednesdays is something we intend to take to Grenada, St. Kitts, Nevis, Trinidad, Jamaica, throughout the Caribbean eventually. But we are here for now, and we are doing quite well in terms of organizing and helping small businesses get off the ground and doing it right. Networking, it really does matter, and we need more of it. I wish the Grenada Chamber of Commerce could do a bit more, and that is something we could talk about another time. But I think it's very important that we let folks know that rather than wait for a job, it helps to create one yourself and use your talent and make use of the education that you've obtained. And that is where a chamber can come in to help in not just mentoring is one, but also laying the foundation, helping this entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs, to do good business plans and so that it would be viable. And that they could meet felt needs, do the market survey, make sure that they're doing something that there's a need for would succeed, you know. So we have a lot of work to do in that area, and I think that would supplement what the government is doing, and the government can assist in
creating the environment,
and incentivizing that process as well.
Yeah, creating the environment.
Certainly.
Yeah. We see here somebody by the name of Grenada Sunshine says that Gerry wears many hats, and obviously, listening to you, the person is absolutely correct about that.
I do wear a few, but it all goes back to one thing. It's my training is in law. I have a Doctor of Jurisprudence degree and mass communications and political science. But I've also taken graduate work in education. I have 5 years of a teaching experience here in the New York City Department of Education, and I still assist as a substitute teacher from time to time. So I do wear a few hats. But it's all about packaging information, research, and presenting it for the betterment of the lives of those around me. And so it all comes back to one thing: research, sourcing information, packaging information, and sharing information. And that's what I think I do best. And I'm trying to do it with God's help.
You know, now I want to get into the meat of our conversation this morning. A little while ago, you mentioned packaging. And I know that's something that's been very close to your heart, is the branding of Grenada as pure Grenada. You didn't take too kindly to that, did you?
I didn't, George. And if you would have permitted me, just before I get into that, there are a couple of events happening here in the diaspora, just to bring folks up to date on that, because I know that talking about that branding issue would take all of our time, and I might forget to mention this. You know, Independence is coming soon, and the celebrations here in New York are happening from February 8th. So I just wanted to let folks know that the 45th anniversary Independence Gala and Award Ceremony, along with the pre-Gala award ceremony events, are as follows. On February 8th, there'll be a cultural evening that's happening at St. Therese Lisieux RC Auditorium, right there at 4410 Avenue D. Then on Saturday, February 9th, there's a Youth in Action program where the youths would be brought out to display their talent and to show their patriotism. That's happening at the same venue, St. Therese Lisieux RC Auditorium, right there at 4410 Avenue D. Then on Sunday, February 10th, there will be a church service at the St. Augustine Episcopal Church at 4301 Avenue D. Everything seems to be happening on Avenue D. That's from 4 p.m. And then there's a seniors afternoon. That's happening on Thursday, February 14th at St. Gabriel's Episcopal Church. That's at 331 Hawthorne Street, and that's from that's happening in the morning. I think from 11 a.m. And folks can get more of that information by calling the Grenada consulate if they did not get all of it. But the gala award ceremony, and that's happening on Saturday, February 16th. Normally that happens the weekend of Independence. This year they pushed it back a bit. It's happening February 16th at Il Carib, right here in Brooklyn, not in Queens. Many people have complained about that. Too long a trek to Queens. It's happening in Brooklyn, where most of the Grenadians and Friends of Grenada are. And it's at Il Carib, which is at 5945 Strickland Avenue from 9 p.m. Also, there's another Grenada Independence show and dance, the Grenada Caribbean Pediatric Show and Dance. That's happening at February 9th. This one is independent of the committee that's organizing the other events I mentioned earlier. This is an independent a Grenadian and some friends are organizing this other event on February 9th. It's called Grenada Caribbean Pediatric Show and Dance, February 9th. More information of that could be obtained, of course, on social media. But just wanted to let folks know that things are happening up here involving Grenadians. But all Grenadians are concerned, George, including myself, about how we market Grenada and how we take care of the resources that God has blessed us with. And just to go on to give my take on this thing, let me first of all give some praise where it's due. I think one of the best ministers of tourism that we've had in Grenada ever, one of the best certainly, is Alexandria Otway in Wells. She did a whole lot to really make tourism everybody's business, to try to engage stakeholders all around. and to put Grenada out there more in a way that was well articulated and certainly well appreciated. But I think she made one mistake. Under her watch, one mistake occurred, and I do not know if she's primarily responsible for it, but she was minister at the time, and that was the rebranding effort, changing it from Isle of Spice or the Spice of the Caribbean to pure Grenada. That's what was initially done, and then later, because of the public outcry, that was tweaked to pure Grenada, and the subtext became the Spice of the Caribbean. I think that it was a mistake to make that change initially, given the fact that what we had is something that we had developed for so many years. I mean, you could say it goes back to the 1800s when we first had nutmeg, but we really, capitalized on it in the 60s when we included the nutmeg in our flag prior to independence, and then of course when we became independence, we made it one of the main symbols of our flag, symbolizing the spice, which is how we became branded internationally. Globally, it's a distinctive. We are distinctively recognized with that long history. It's a catchy and memorable phrase, a resonating ring to it, which is the Isle of Spice. Attractive, historically meaningful optics, the great attractive symbolic optics of a ripe, open, bright nutmeg with green leaves, yellow pods, and red mace, and a dark-skinned shell. Historical and economic significance also that we had in that brand. The words Isle of Spice taken in context are of historical value and economic significance. They encapsulate a people's history, identity, and way of life. In contrast, what we got, pure Grenada, was a misnomer at best. It really is not accurate too, to say nothing is pure anywhere, but we can try to make it pure and speak of the things about our culture that in some way still kept in a pristine condition. However, that branding, even the symbol that went with it, is very abstract. When you see it, you do not really know what you're seeing, what you're looking at. It doesn't tell you anything about the country. It doesn't bring your mind to it, and the message itself is something we have to develop. Whereas we could be adding to what we already had in Isle of Spice, and if we wanted to tweak it, I think what we should have done is say Isle of Spice or the Spice of the Caribbean, and the subtext should be pure Grenada, as we work towards maintaining the things that are still pure and improving the areas that are not as pure as they used to be. I think we have a lot to do in terms of keeping our environment clean, in terms of protecting our ecosystems. We have a lot of work to do in that area. I think our marshlands and our watersheds and in other areas, or rivers or streams, we are not taking the best care of those areas, but we are still the most beautiful, I would say, in many ways. I mean, our beaches are been harmed in some ways, and we can see it with the algae and so on that we've seen in places where we never saw it before. That's what we need to do to keep it pure and to make it pure. So I think what we should have been focusing on is what we already had. And because we created that void, George, we are beginning to see some intrusions. And we created a void, and the Jamaicans are walking in. And you can't blame them. My friends in Jamaica, you can't blame them. If it were the other way around, I would suggest that we do the same thing. You have a brand that is the envy of the entire world and the entire Caribbean, such as the Isle of Spice, and you're going to change it, initially get rid of it, and then bring it back as a subtext, when there are countries who wish they had it to begin with. And so what the Jamaicans are doing, they have always been propagating more of the spices, planting it, cultivating it, packaging, exporting. If you go to New York today, every street corner, every Asian store, you're seeing spice packets from Jamaica, 100% Jamaican, it says. You're seeing restaurants. A restaurant was recently opened on Church Avenue, the Spice Island restaurant. Grenadians are walking in there every day, George, walking into this restaurant, and only to find out that it's not a Grenadian restaurant, it's a Jamaican restaurant. And I say to them, listen, patronize the place. They're our brothers, they're our sisters. We are the ones who open the door. I mean, that would not have happened a few years ago. No Jamaican would have had the guts, the cojones to open a restaurant and name it the Spice Island restaurant while Grenada was being known and branded as the Isle of Spice. But now they could, because we're no longer the Isle of Spice. We're pro-Grenada. We're pro-Grenada. And the Jamaicans would tell you, don't blame me. Blame your leaders. Blame the ones who made the decision. You know? So that is the situation now, George, and I wish we had done it differently. I wish we would bring it back. I want us to bring it back, George, because Grenadians up here would tell you nothing that anyone says would cause me to change describing Grenada as the Isle of Spice. People are still saying it, but the fact is we are branding and marketing Grenada as pure Grenada. So that is what we need to change. Bring it back to where it used to be. It's recognizable, it's well established, it's globally recognized, and it is symbolic of who we are. So let's use what we had and build on it.
Well, hold on a sec, Gerry. Let me ask you this, because, you know, right now, Grenada is basking in some accolades that were released this past week about we have just crossed the 500,000 mark in visitors, and of course there's some who are going to attribute that to the new marketing brand.
George, at all not. I think you of course we cannot turn back the clock of time, but you might be surprised that we might be doing triple this if we had kept Isle of Spice. The fact is, you know, much of what happens out there is cyclic. Not only that, there are various factors, various variables that determine the ups and downs in tourist arrivals on these cruise ships or for overnighting tourists. The marketing in terms of where I think one of our biggest problems in the past, George, was our ad placement. To the credit of the new Director of Tourism, the GTA, Tourism Authority, we are doing a much better job at ad placement. We are marketing Grenada in places where out of the box, where we didn't go before. We are using popular talk shows in the US and having giveaways and so on, working in conjunction with various resorts in Grenada. We are messaging in major publications. We are taking advantage of social media. So we are doing all of that, but we're doing it with a message that is not the strongest one, but yet we have more visibility because we have been exposed more than we were before. Now, if we were doing that with Spice Isle, with the Spice Isle brand, we might be doing even better, much better. And the other thing is, George, factors that impact and influence whether or not we get a large number in terms of arrivals. It could also just simply be what's happening in the minds of tourists. You know, there's various advisories about other destinations that might turn them off. Crime, for example, is up in some of the other destinations in the Caribbean right now. Grenada is relatively low compared to the others. So that would be a factor that would make tourists want to come to Grenada as opposed to, I won't name the other countries, but the other ones that have attracted many before that are not attracting as many now. That's a factor there. Also, the way the cruise ships market the product. One of our weaknesses in the past, we have not gotten the cruise ships and the airlines to, when we signed these agreements with them, to do enough to market the tourism product. We were paying airlines to come here when in fact what we should be doing is spending more money marketing the product in the appropriate places, in major publications, in major cities, not just in the traditional spots and in the traditional expos, but going to places that we want to go into before. For example, why aren't we marketing Grenada with brochures that are translated into Cantonese and the other Chinese language and Mandarin, and promoting Grenada in China? The Chinese are the most affluent tourists right now. They do business with us. They are here. The contractors are here. The government is here. They have a hotel here. They have, you know, they're doing so much here. And we're not marketing Grenada as a tourism destination in China. They are going to Brazil. They're going to Barbados. They're going to other countries. but we're not really doing what we need to be doing to bring them here. This is the kind of problem we've had in the past. We are not marketing Grenada in Seattle. We're not marketing Grenada in Alaska, where it's frigid all the time and folks have discretionary funds to travel. You know, we need to market the destination, the tourism product in the right places, in the right forms, make better use of new technologies. And we are doing some of that, but we can still do more. And I'm certain that when we get it all together optimally, we would be seeing better results in terms of arrivals by cruise ships as well as by airlines. And then we wouldn't have to be paying these airlines to come here. Because if we market the product right, and people are hearing about the Spice Isles of the Caribbean, and we're getting the airlines and the cruise ships to help us in doing that. We're on CNN and we're everywhere else, like Jamaica and the Bahamas. They're not there by chance. They're there because they deliberately did what they had to do to get the message out there. You know, if we have negotiators who know what they're doing, and we'll get the results we need in terms of how we market and where we market, we would get the results we need to have in terms of arrivals and overnighters.
Gerry, you know, I think a lot of people will agree with you, because I think we all know that the tourism industry is cyclical. You know, you've got your ups and downs, like the economy. You know, sometimes you got a boom and sometimes you got a bust. And I do believe that it appears that right now Grenada's time has come, and we're getting a fair share. I also want to acknowledge something. I'll tell you, whether it's coincidence or not, I don't know, but I'll tell you, in recent years, since we had the appointment of the new chief executive officer of the CTO, I mean, that's when we really started to see things take off. I know there were people who were against it. Well, so be it. Entitled to their opinions. But yes, that's when things started to take off. And I know that she has been aggressively marketing the place out there. And like you listed a number of places where they are marketing. They're targeting a lot of American game shows and stuff like that. And I believe it's paying off. I believe it's paying off. But when I take a look here at both the shout box this morning and also the shout box and Rumble chat. Let me start with Rusty Nails. Rusty Nails says, Gerry is a great guy. He loves Grenada and looks out for the best. I agree with Gerry 100%. It was unique and organic, and it was us. He's talking about the Isle of Spice. Pure Grenada means nothing. You look at the symbol, it looks like an ad for a drink. So says Rusty Nails, who also goes on, he's very vocal, he or she is very vocal. He says, it's the worst thing they've done. I never say pure Grenada. It will always be Grenada, the Isle of Spice. Tessa Barry says, I am yet to understand the thinking behind this rebranding. Gerry's commentary on this issue is one all Grenadians should reach. If I have the opportunity to have any input in decisions regarding tourism in Grenada, it would be to remove this new brand. I never acknowledged this pure Grenada. Rusty Nail says, now Jamaica is trying to rebrand themselves as the Isle of Spice. Can you believe that? Anyhow.
George,
hold on a sec. Hold on.
Could you imagine Grenada coming out and calling ourselves the land of reggae? Oh boy.
Rusty Nail says, I think it's not too late. It should be returned to Grenada, the Isle of Spice. It is not too late. Proper marketing was missing in the past, not the changing of the brand. The Isle of Spice was perfect. It said who we are in a second. With pure Grenada, it has to be explained. Okay?
That's exactly what I said in my commentary. You have to explain the abstract logo to people for them to understand what it means. It's like people look at it and it's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
You know? And even the colors is like, you know, in some places you see it blue, other places it's kind of green. And I don't know. I mean, consistency in a logo in rebranding is important. I'm not even certain what really the pure Grenada color is. You see it in about 2 or 3 different colors. It is, and that, I mean, and not to say that you cannot have an alternate, but when you're trying, if something is new and you're trying to introduce it to people and the world, you have to be consistent with it, and it has to make sense.
All right.
Right now, it's a misnomer.
A couple of folks have just joined us on Facebook. Agatha Jordan is saying, top of the morning to you. She's just back from Mass. I hope you prayed for us, Agatha. She says, it's been an invigorating sermon this morning. I danced and clapped all through the songs. I wish you and all your listeners from far and wide a blessed day. Grenada Sunshine says, Gerry wears many hats. Hello, Wendy Ann Farray. John Kennison is late on parade today. He says he's sorry. And the note, which is required from his mom, signed by his mom, about his lateness, is in the post. So we should have that before next Sunday's program.
Okay, thank you.
Veronica Sandy saying, good morning, Gerry. Yes, I am not in favor of rebranding Pure Grenada. Benedict Cador says, and there is a Pure Michigan in the States, making it not unique. Agatha Jordan says, exactly, Gerry. It was a nonsense rebranding our spice oil. Ronnie Slinger agrees with you, and so does Benedict Cador. Veronica Sandy says, yes, making believe it's a Grenadian restaurant. She's talking about that restaurant in New York, Gerry. Making believe it's a Grenadian
right
restaurant.
There in the middle of Judge Avenue.
She said she stopped in there and turned around. Ernesto says, so we advertising and Jamaicans selling it. My. Unbelievable. Veronica says, there's only one spice island, Grenada. Gem FM, the Sheriff Caliste says, it's all about marketing and promotion. Bob Marichaux says, Patricia Mayer, you and staff are doing a great job. Agree with you, Bob. Keep it up. I disagree with the branding, but the data on Grenada's tourism is beyond belief. Saying it's excellent is an understatement, so says Bob.
Yeah, George, let me chime in here.
Hold on, Gerry, just one more comment here. Gem FM, the Sheriff Caliste says, yes, we explain, and the explanation will have different views and opinions. Go ahead, Gerry.
Yeah, the new executive director at GTA, I think she's doing a splendid job.
Yeah, I agree.
With the marketing, in terms of the strategizing, in terms of ad placement, and where, the exposure that we are getting. And that started, mind you, as I said earlier, it started with Alexandria. I saw improvements that were that were initiated from that period. But the biggest mistake was this attempt to rebrand, and it still is a mistake today. So if the new GTA director could effectuate some change or reversal of sorts, that would be good for all of us, for Grenada and Carriacou and PD Matnick and all Grenadians in the diaspora. We'd all be happier for it.
Okay. Gerry, I think we've talked enough about Pure Grenada, but I know that you have a number of other things on your chest. And since I got you, I'm going to make full use of you. What's up?
Well, the good doctor you had this morning, the gentleman talking about agriculture, George.
Dr. Campbell.
A breath of fresh air in many ways. I'm happy to hear that he is focused on paying attention to some of the things that you and I spoke about here before. when I did that piece on common sense solutions to the economic downturn, ways and means we can reverse things and do better in terms of developing our economy. Agriculture would always be an important element, an important pillar in the engine as an engine of growth for the Grenadian economy. I join him in saying that what we are doing with the government estates is a mistake. We need to be paying more attention to how we can engage the youths with a plan, with a program that will make those productive for Grenadians, and engaging our youths and seeing agriculture as agribusiness, removing the stigma, seeing it just as manual labor, as a follow-up to slavery. We need to see agriculture, first of all, focus on the businessmen and women in agriculture who are doing well, give them the recognition that they deserve, have an annual award ceremony where we recognize the farmers who are successful, who are paying for their children's education, who are paying their bills and taking care of their responsibilities through agriculture because they are doing it right in a scientific way, with making business decisions when they farm. And there are many, we can name who are doing that. Of course, close to home is my uncle, Hopkin, who has a cooperative with other farmers, Evelyn Pitt and others up there in Ladig, the Ladig Farmers Cooperative. They've been in business for over 30 years now. They are all successful, every one of them. And they're just doing it right. And we need to encourage, incentivize the cooperative programs. Get back to this. We have a Department of Cooperatives in the Ministry of Finance, attached to the Ministry of Finance. I do not know what they're doing to help cooperatives in Grenada. We should either get rid of that department or do something with it. I think we need to be getting our farmers to come together, having the farming school need to be up and going. We need to put emphasis on that and spend money on it. And he's right when he says that we can tie in agriculture with the climate change awareness, and it's more hip now to take care of the earth and to farm more and be more focused on having more organically grown products and so on. We can do a whole lot. The value addition issue, the issue of value addition. Yes, it's good to have things done on a large scale, but there is a place for, there are niches there for farmers to do things on a small scale as well. It's just having a steady supply and packaging and marketing it the way they ought to. I think people should not be discouraged if all they could do is a small amount of something. As long as they're consistent, as long as they're producing enough to offset their costs and to make a profit, it's good enough. And if we have larger farmers and producers who can do larger quantities, that's good too, and that should be encouraged as well. But you shouldn't say to anyone, don't get into it because the scale on which you intend to do it is too small. No, a lot of people are doing very well producing a small amount. Speak to Dennis Noel. He's not a massive producer, but his business, has done well over the years, and there are others like him who have done that. So we need to put, I think there's a lot of talk about agriculture. He said that there are monies there, but I want to see the monies being spent on initiatives that are real, that are results-oriented, and that are helping the people who are in the trenches doing the work, making it happen. I don't know where the monies are going, really. But we need to see more money being spent in the farming school. We need to see more money being spent to help people to form cooperatives and to work as cooperatives. We need to see the money spent training our young people and letting them see the viability of agriculture, putting them on government estates, cultivating, crops that can be value added and packaged, processed, and sold, exported, consumed locally, and exported as well. We need to do all of that with the monies. And the marketing board has a lot to do. I am disappointed with what they've done over the years. There are some great initiatives like the Mango Festival and so on that they've done locally. But I don't think we have capitalized on those initiatives. While we get people to see all the various things we can do with mango, for example, what's the end result of that? How many of our farmers who come to this festival every year are really producing these products and finding markets internationally and regionally for them? What is government doing to help them? Similarly with flowers, we go to Chelsea every year, and we place high, we win it, we take the trophies. But how does that translate into assisting farmers to get into this area as an industry? And we have the soil, we have the flowers, but what are we doing with it? Government has to help create the environment, and the marketing board has a role to play. GIDC has a significant role to play to engage these farmers and show them the steps in the process to make it happen. We need to capitalize more on our flower production, the production of flowers. We need to grow more and export more. 800 Flowers and all the other companies in the U.S. that accept this, they would be happy, I'm sure, to make use of flowers from Grenada. We have international flights that can take it in terms of cargo ship. You know, getting it out of Grenada, that's there now more than before. Thank God for an international airport. So, George, we talk about the great things that we have and can do, but we're not doing it. I want to see the monies allocated for agriculture used to give us the results we need.
Keep your fingers crossed.
Pardon me?
I said keep your fingers crossed.
No, man. Well, hopefully the gentleman can help that to make that happen. But it takes more than one hand to clap. We need consensus. We need people to buy into seeing. First of all, agriculture has to be recognized as a important and integral pillar as an engine of growth in our economy. You know, in the past, some have said it's not that important. I hope now we are realizing the importance. Tourism is equally important, no more important than agriculture, because we have more control over agriculture on the ground here in Grenada than we do over tourism.
There you go.
I mean, what happens outside can affect whether or not they come in. You just have one criminal act happen in a certain way, and the kind of news coverage we get could affect tourism in a massive way.
Yeah.
But agriculture, we have more control over that because we have the land and we have the crops. We just have to add value to it, consume more of it, and export more of it. So I think we need to do more in agriculture. We need to be able to feed ourselves as a nation. And there are other areas as well. But those two areas, tourism, agriculture, the service sector, we need to improve our hospitals. A lot of my folks who are getting older, we all getting older, George. We may want to retire in Grenada, but we still worried. We worried that the insurance that we have in the diaspora may not be accepted. The claims from providers in Grenada may not be accepted by the insurance companies here. Why? Because government and the private sector, the insurance companies, the Chamber of Commerce and so on, have not done what they need to do, like the Israelis have done, for example, and other countries have done, to secure coverage back home. You know, you have to do that. Your government has to play a role in that process. Engage the insurance companies over here who provide insurance, and get them to realize that the medical providers are accredited, they are recognized. SGU has a campus, they're training doctors in Grenada. I mean, we get SGU involved in helping us to negotiate that. We need that. And then we need better healthcare. We need a teaching hospital in Grenada. We need folks to know that when they come home, they'll have proper geriatric care, you know, senior centers where they can exercise and be taken care of and enjoy the beaches. But they need the insurance coverage, and they need to know the doctors and the specialists are there. That's why we need a teaching hospital to make SGU more viable too. You know, SGU has a problem. They're having a problem finding placement for the residents outside of Grenada. When they send them back to the States, they're having a lot of issues finding spots. In England as well, they're finding difficulty. And so that has affected their admission numbers in some way, especially a few years ago. International students who have difficulty obtaining visas to the U.S. are no longer thinking it's a good idea to go to SGU if they're not guaranteed that they would have a school to go to complete their residency program after they finish the coursework at SGU. So if we have a teaching hospital in Grenada where you have all the equipment and all the attending specialists on island, then these doctors who come from wherever they come from to study at SGU would have a place to go to complete their residency program in Grenada. And that means more money circulating in the economy because they're staying longer in Grenada. The hotels are making more, the taxi drivers are making more, the rental companies are making more, the real estate people who own property are making more, the grocery stores are making more. The whole economy benefits. So we need a teaching hospital. And so we'll keep these students in Grenada for a longer period, and we will have better medical services available for locals and for visitors. And then medical tourism will come into play. Then we can invite people to come to Grenada, to a world-class teaching hospital, have your medical procedures done, and convalesce, recover on your beach of choice, you know, and stay at a hotel or wherever you get to. George, we can do it. We can do it. I believe we can do it. We just need to get to it.
You know, Gerry, one of the reasons why I really wanted to have you talk with us this morning is because you bring an outside perspective, a different perspective. I mean, you're looking at this from the point of view of somebody who lives out there in the diaspora, which we cater to, by the way, you know, the diaspora. But you're not enclosed as we are. Our backs are against the wall here in Grenada. And I really like the perspective that you're sharing with us this morning. And actually, I think the listeners appreciate it as well, viewers as well, because I see here that we've been joined by somebody named Jillian Marshall. Says, very good program. Knowledge is power. Thank you, Mr. Grant and Gerry, for all your contributions. See, people are taking note.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, George, we all have our part to play. And, you know, the blessings we receive, we have to give back.
Yeah.
You know, I was fortunate to have you know, I was just recognized in Gordon Hamilton, one of my past educators. He taught me in Mount St. Albans IFC School. And Loftus Macmillan, another great artist who was also a great teacher who taught me. And later on, people like John Benjamin and George Brizan, who I owe a lot to as well in terms of formation and training and thinking. And what they gave me prepared me for college. And I came to the States. I did I started small. I did my 2-year associates program at Holy Cross Notre Dame. Dominic Jeremiah and myself, we went to that same school, who's now the principal of PBC. And from there, I got a scholarship to Loyola University, a Jesuit university in the South, in New Orleans. And that's where I did communications and political science. I met lots of people there who exposed me to a lot of great ideas. People like Jonathan Kozol, who wrote Illiterate America. People like Kino Achebe. People like Berry, who was Secretary of Education for a while in the States. And all of that I've learned over the years is what I'm giving back now. And I thank those who made it possible for me. And you know, the law degree helped too. But most of all, the experience, the life experiences. So, George, I'm happy to be here. And any way I can help, I will. And you are doing your part, and we thank you as well for what you are doing.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gerry. You know, listen. Now that you buttered my back here, man, I'm gonna put you on the spot. We want to hear more from you, Gerry. You know, we try to hear from. I said we want to hear more from you. We have a keen interest in hearing the perspective of people who are living out there in the diaspora. Okay. And I mean, you have been fabulous this morning, and I do hope that this is only the start of a chain, if you will, of visits from Gerry Hopkin. How about that?
George, you will be hearing more of me. In this new year going forward, that is one of the things I intend to do more, to be more engaged in this manner. So you will be hearing more of me. And just as I wrap it up, I mentioned a few names, and one name I must mention is George Maguire. He played a significant role also in shaping my thinking and my approach to doing things. And for the Bernard Cadillac, great man. Okay. He inspired me in so many ways to think about the earth and to think about results-oriented approach to doing things. So, George, thank you so much. I know it's time to get out of here for you. And, you know, I'm happy that we had this discussion this morning. And we will discuss off-air how I can be more engaged.
Okay, please, we will do that. Thank you so much, Gerry. I've been talking with Mr. Gerry Hopkin, community organizer out there in the Big Apple. Hey, it's been a long time in coming, Gerry, and I'm glad that we finally got around to doing it. Thank you so much. Look forward to hearing from you. Gerry, Ernesto Jose is asking here on Facebook, how can we get in contact with you in New York, Gerry?
Oh, there are various ways. One would be my WhatsApp number, 347-350-4285, 347-350-4285, or email hopkinsgerry, HOPKINSGERRY, not J, G, HOPKINSGERRY at Gmail, hopkinsgerry, or just Hopkins CG, as in consulting group, Hopkins CG at Gmail. And I'm on Facebook. Facebook as Gerry Hopkin. I've maxed my friend load, so you can just follow me or inbox me. And I'm also on Instagram as Hopkins Gerry or Gerry Hopkin on Instagram and Twitter as well. So I can be reached. And George, I didn't mention it, but I also do a lot of work, offering legal support in the area of immigration and small business incorporation. So if you want to start your small business, talk to me.
Okay.
If you want to take care of immigration matters, give me a buzz.
Okay, thanks a lot, Gerry. Okie doke, folks. There goes Mr. Gerry Hopkin. Thank you so much, my friend. Now, folks, on Facebook here, I see, let's see here. Hazel, where is it? Oh boy, Hazel has gone. Hazel Ferguson. For some reason there, I lost Hazel. Well, oh yeah, Hazel Ferguson's. She says, I'm a first-time listener to your program, and it will not be my last. Very informative. Listening from Atlanta. Hazel, it's an honor having you join us here. I'm sure everybody joins me in welcoming you. And Gerry, Ernesto says he's going to check you out. And Gem FM, the sheriff, says, thank you, Gerry. Folks, that's going to just about wrap it up. But don't go away, because after this break, we're going to come right on back at you.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate, Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Together with you, our customers, we energize our community.
Together with you, we energize our economy.
We are working together to give our nation a better tomorrow.
With you, we energize our future. Together, we energize our nation.
Thank you for partnering with us
as we energize our spice side.
GrenLec, energizing our Grenada.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company, tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive, motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary, public liability, professional indemnity, directors liability, and wait, we still have more. Come and find out more what you're waiting for.
We are located on Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
Okay, folks, it's been a wonderful morning, and I want to thank every one of you for joining us and making this possible. God bless every one of you. By the way, Gem FM, the Sheriff Caliste, says we've been a good influence on him, great influence on him. Gem FM, it's an honor having you join us, and we look forward to seeing a lot more of you. Thanks for coming. Pilgrims, as we always do, as far as I'm concerned, probably the most important part of our program, a closing scripture. This one comes to you from Matthew 18, verses 15 to 19. Again, I tell you that if two of you on earth agree about anything they ask for, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. For where two or three gather in my name, there am I with them. Keep that close to your hearts throughout the coming week. And be sure to join us, those of you who've got the time, weekday mornings right here on Grenada Broadcast for our daily edition of Good Day Grenada. Testa says, thanks, George. Missed the last few Sundays, but back on track. Today was great. Thanks a lot. And Grenada Sunshine says, another great program. Productive week, folks. Ernesto says, keep the videos coming, George. Yes, so we're going to try. We are trying. Georgie Porgy sending God's blessings upon you. By His grace, let's all work harder to make this a wonderful place and all that it can be. Ciao.